strong LGBTQ plus storytelling in movies and TV. We'll also hear from one of the stars of the Mindy Kaling created show Never Have I Ever on how the show rightly tackles representation. And later, a look at how and why the Golden Girls has become so important to the LGBTQ community. Plus, I'll show you my interview with the cast of the reboot of Queer as Folk. It's all still to come, but let's get to what's first up, why don't we? Chris Witherspoon is a fountain of knowledge, especially on what to watch for Pride Month. So we had the founder and CEO of Pop Viewers break down which LGBTQ movies and shows you should be adding to your list.
June is Pride Month. And don't think we're going to let this month sashay away without giving you a list of must-see content featuring some iconic LGBTQ plus characters. So let's get right to it. First up is P-Valley on Starz. The series is created by Katori Hall and follows several people who work at a strip club deep down in the Mississippi Delta. You have a couple of veteran strippers with compelling storylines played by Shannon Thornton and Brandy Evans, but the scene stealer of the series is Uncle Clifford, played by Nico Anand. Uncle Clifford is the non-binary owner of the strip club and truly the breakout star of the show. He's always serving heels, lip gloss, lashes, and we are here for all of it. Oh, and for the hotties out there, none other than Megan Thee Stallion will be joining the cast this season. She'll be playing a character based on her rap alter ego named Tina Snow. You can watch season 2 of P-Valley Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on Starz. Next up is the Queer as Folk reboot on Peacock, which is part of NBC's parent company, NBC Universal. It's the reimagining of the groundbreaking Showtime series from the early 2000s. Now, a lot has changed since then. This time, the show takes place in New Orleans and follows a diverse group of friends who find their lives transformed in the aftermath of a tragedy.
Haven't seen you around? You a tourist?
Nah, I've been in Baltimore for med school.
Rude of you to be hot and smart.
The series stars Devin Way, Finn Argus, Jesse James Keitel, Ryan O'Connell, and Johnny Sibley. Okay, next up is Paris is Burning, arguably one of the most legendary, I'll say it again, legendary documentaries about the Black and Latino gay ballroom scene of the 80s.
The House of La Beija is the legendary house above all of them. I have the most members, I'm the most popular. New York City is wrapped up in being La Beija.
Have you ever stopped to ask yourself how terms like shade, reading, and slay became popular vernacular? Well, look no further. Paris is Burning will give you all the receipts. The documentary explores the elaborately structured ballroom competitions where contestants are judged on their dance talent, the fierceness of their looks, and the realness of their drag. The film alternates between footage of the balls and prominent members of the ballroom scene like Peppa LaBeija, Dorian Corey, Angie Extravaganza, and Willie Ninja. Oh, and have a box of Kleenex handy because the film also touches on issues within the LGBTQ plus community such as AIDS, racism, poverty, violence, and homophobia. In 2016, the film was selected for preservation in the U.S. National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. That's what we call 10s across the board. That's a ballroom reference, you guys. Paris is Burning is now streaming on HBO Max. If you're in the mood for something a bit lighter and family-friendly, you don't want to miss Better Nate Than Ever. It's a queer, positive Disney film that centers around a character named Nate Foster, a 13-year-old boy who dreams of becoming a Broadway star someday. He lives in Pittsburgh, PA, and struggles with being unpopular and not fitting in at school. I relate to that. One day, Nate's friend Libby encourages him to take a trip to New York City without his parents' knowledge to audition for Lilo & Stitch, the musical on Broadway. Chaos, comedy, and a whole lot of self-discovery ensues. The movie stars Ruby Wood, Aria Brooks, and Lisa Kudrow. You can stream Better Nate Than Ever today on Disney+. Now, if you feel like a quick weekend getaway this summer but don't feel like getting off your couch, do yourself a favor and head over to Hulu to watch Fire Island. It's written by Joel Kim Booster, who also stars in the film alongside SNL's Bowen Yang, Conrad Ricamora, James Scully, and Margaret Cho, the Queen.
We know his name is Charlie, and he's got a dog emoji and a plant emoji and a stethoscope emoji. What a riddle.
It's a modern rom-com inspired by Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, showcasing a diverse, multicultural examination of queerness and romance. The movie centers around a group of queer friends who embark on a week-long vacation to Fire Island, a famous gay escape off the south shore of Long Island. There's a whole lot of drama, laughs, and a beautiful gay love story to experience. Also, did I mention that all the gay characters are played by gay actors? Come through Hollywood with all this diversity and inclusion. Fire Island is available to stream now on Hulu. And if you love Fire Island and want another dose of Joel Kim Booster, you're in luck because his new Netflix comedy special, Psychosexual, is available to stream now. In the special, filmed at Catch One in Los Angeles, Joel Kim riffs on everything from dining at P.F. Chang's to why he thinks cats are better than dogs. Also, he unpacks the cultural nuances of being Asian and queer as he gets older. This is clearly the summer of Joel Kim Booster, and we don't want it to end. So this is officially Pride Month, but let's make it a Pride Summer. There's just so much great content. Let's keep it going.
Thanks to Chris for giving us some awesome recommendations. We should mention you can download the Pop Viewers app from the App Store. Still to come, a star from Never Have I Ever opens up about LGBTQ representation in the world of TV.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCNews.com/planyourvote today.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Yamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers. Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Pop Start Plus and a special Pride Month themed episode. Lee Rodriguez plays Fabiola on Never Have I Ever, a show created by Mindy Kaling featuring a diverse cast navigating high school. Rodriguez spoke to us about what the show's storytelling gets right about the coming of age experience.
What do I think Never Have I Ever gets right? They get it right in the sense that being in high school, you don't always see like young girls, wanting to have all of these different experiences as far as like sex and like dating and also in high school, like you're figuring yourself out a lot. I know with Fabiola, like in season 1, she was coming to terms that, she was gay. And so I feel like that's something that's very accurate and a very big, experience that a lot of young queer teens have.
I'm gay.
What does it mean to play Fabiola? For me, it means a lot because I see a lot of myself in her. Like she's got a lot of layers. She's got the whole awkward teen going on. She's queer. She's like a woman of color. She has like this best friend group that, she's always like ride or die, always down to like for whatever. But playing her, I feel like there was this one experience that I had. I went to this event and there was this young girl and she told me how much it meant to her, like seeing an awkward teenager in high school, and just said that like she really resonated with that, like being tall and being awkward within itself is like a whole experience. So just playing her, I guess I never realized how many different people would see themselves in Fabiola, and so it's awesome and I love it, and I've loved playing her.
I'm gay. I'm sorry that I didn't tell you sooner. I honestly just realized.
Don't you dare apologize to me.
Really?
I love this for you. And I love this for me. Finally a gay friend. It really fits my brand as a theater wench.
So season 1, Davy has this idea that they need to get boyfriends, that they need to start dating and lose their virginity. And for Fabiola, you know, it wasn't ideal because she didn't really know if she wanted to have a boyfriend. She tried out the whole boyfriend stitch. Was weird. Very weird for her. And then she sees this beautiful, gorgeous girl named Eve, and she starts having a crush on her. And so it makes her question her sexuality. And so season 1, she comes to terms that she is gay. And that's great. We love that for her. So season 2, you'd think that things would get easier after you come out. But the reality is, like, she had way more questions than she did answers. She was trying to fit in to pop queer culture, and she just doesn't fit. And I feel like season 2, it just goes to show there's no one way to be gay. There's no wrong or right way. It's just, it's whatever you feel. And so that's what I really loved about her journey in season 2, coming to terms that she can be a robotics geek and, you know, support the LGBTQ community. And so you can do it all. But yeah, I feel like it's important because it's just real. It's real life. It's realistic. Well, I constantly got the question after Never Have I Ever came out. It's like, oh, are you really gay? Are you just pretending to be a lesbian? And I would constantly see people assuming my sexuality. And so it would always, like, kind of bug me, because I would be like, well, do I not look like somebody who would be queer? Like, am I not a valid queer person? And so I kind of just came to terms. And also, like, you know, playing Fabiola kind of also helped me come to terms as well that it is such a relevant thing. Like, there's no one way to be gay. And you know what? Sometimes you don't even have to come out. Like, it's all up to you. You can come out, you cannot come out. It's whatever makes you feel comfortable. And so I'm so thankful to have, you know, played Fabiola. But yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot, and it really helped me be able to make that post and feel confident enough to do so. And so, yeah, it's a really big moment for me. Yeah, I mean, I get DMs and comments all the time saying how Fabiola's, like, the character Fabiola inspired their coming out and inspired them to, you know, was their gay awakening. So that's pretty awesome. That always means a lot, because I do bring a lot of my own characteristics to Fabiola. And so it also allows me to feel less alone too. But yeah, season 3, a lot of great moments. Yeah, you're gonna see her come into her own. There's gonna be a lot of surprises. A lot of surprises in the 3rd season. Specifically with Fabiola, a lot of things that people did not expect. So that's all I can say. But it's gonna be awesome.
Our thanks to Lee, and you can watch Never Have I Ever on Netflix. Season 3 will premiere in August. Up next, the great love for the Golden Girls within the LGBTQ community.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Yamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCnews.com/planyourvote today.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this? Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark. How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. My name is Lester. Who's this?
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to our special Pride Month Pop Start Plus. The Golden Girls holds a special spot for so many of us, especially those of us in the LGBTQ community. We spoke to the founders and attendees of Golden Con, a convention held this year for all fans of the show, and we learned how watching Blanche, Rose, Sophia, and Dorothy on screen has helped others find their chosen family.
Is his name David Price? Right? David Price, why don't you come on up? I think he has something to tell you all.
Well, I decided back in, I want to say December or January I was going to propose, and I wasn't sure exactly when I was going to do it. He had talked about going to Golden Con, we'd already decided to go, and I went onto the website and I sent him a contact information thing saying what I wanted, and asked if they could possibly help me.
Yes. As you know, you were born when I was first watching the Golden Girls. And I never dreamed that all these years later you would pop up and love the show as much as I did. Yes. So we've talked a lot about walking down that house someday. I hope someday we will. Yes. So in the meantime.
And then when he put a box, I knew, and then I instantly lost it, and I just cried. And it was very cliche, but I cried.
The proposal being definitely one of those wow moments. We were obviously creating a space and an experience for people to be seen, to be heard, and to celebrate the things that they're passionate about.
I have been a Golden Girls fan since I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and the significance of that show for me is not only is it entertaining and it's funny and it's well written, but you can find yourself within one of those 4 characters. But for me, I feel like the show is a safe place for young gay people. That show is just means so much to me.
I think one of the reasons that people become lifelong fans of the Golden Girls is because there are separate layers that you can discover at different phases in your life. Whether it's you just enjoy that quality time that you have with a parent or grandparent or sibling, or as you become older, you begin to understand the humor and it's just funny. And then as you become even a little older than that, you realize you can intellectualize these are characters who are going through major life changes, that are finding their identity, that are finding their chosen family. And for the LGBTQ plus community, that rings so true for so many.
I think Golden Girls has lasted so many years because it's touched a chord with LGBTQ plus members, and myself being one of them, because it's a family that's created, not blood relatives. And I think we can relate to all of that.
There were no positive gay role models on TV. The only gay people on TV were people dying of AIDS, or we were, stigmatized as being these awful, degenerate people. So that was a really big deal to me to see something positive on TV, in the late 80s.
I think what stands out to me the most about the episodes of the Golden Girls with these LGBTQ issues is you can love who you love, no matter if it's a man or a woman, and always be true to yourself. And that's what they did.
Oh, look, I can accept the fact that he's gay, but why does he have to slip a ring on this guy's finger so the whole world will know? Why did you marry George? We loved each other. We wanted to make a lifetime commitment, wanted everybody to know. That's what Doug and Clayton want, too.
One of the moments that stands out especially is Sophia
explaining to Blanche, they're sitting in the kitchen by themselves, and Sophia explains to Blanche that, that Clayton, Blanche's gay brother, simply just wants to love his partner and have that love be accepted and to care for each other and to live out their lives happily.
I'm quite amazed that fans are still touched 30 years later about my performance. And it's a very effective and humbling experience to have them come up and tell me what that role meant to them at the time when they were 16, 17, 18, or a young person, or an older person, or a 30-year-old man or woman, saying, because of that, and I find it hard to believe, and now I find it very humbling to believe. And as I go to say that the Golden Girls were all gold actors, extraordinary talents, and the writing and the producing and the directing. So this was a very classic show to do, and to have this kind of response all these years later.
It's a chance, if you go to a con, to actually get to know them. I mean, I got to know a lot of people because they would want to tell me why Golden Girls was important to them. You never know in your lifetime what's going to, what you do that will resonate 35 years later. I'm so pleased and proud to have been a part of it. And it was a tremendous honor. I was actually working with one of my icons.
For the LGBTQ folks who were at the event, it was definitely a moment to let their freak flag fly in that sort of specific way.
At the end, I knew instinctively down into my DNA that the Golden Girls connected with people. I mean, it's connected with me since I was a child. I underestimated exactly how much, because we were saying goodbye to folks at the very end of Golden Con, and people had tears in their eyes. And I am not known for making people cry, so I was shocked by that. That I was proud to be in any way associated with something that came off as beautiful and inclusive as it was.
Thanks to everyone involved in that great conversation. Coming up, the stars of the Queer as Folk reboot.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers. Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
To cover the news, you have to be in it. These are families trying to board those trains to Poland.
I also want to get home.
You'll get home. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to our Pride Month Pop Star Plus. Recently, I had the chance to speak with the stars of a new reboot of the groundbreaking show Queer as Folk. Chris Witherspoon mentioned it a little earlier as one to watch this month. It first hit the airwaves in the UK back in 1999. Then a year later, the show premiered in the US, running for 5 seasons on Showtime. Now it's back in a new form. The cast and creators are calling it more of a reimagining.
I think you should clean up your last mess before you start a new one.
Queer as Folk is back, starring folks who are proudly queer.
If I don't get a B or at least like a cheeky little C+, then my mom's not going to let me audition for drag school tonight.
We sat down with 3 of the show's stars. Devin Way plays Brody.
Why did you want to be a part of this show? It's just because, you know?
Jesse James Keitel is Ruthie.
There
weren't necessarily a lot of trans women represented in either of the previous iterations of the show.
And Finn Argus stars as Mingus.
I'd never had the opportunity to play a queer character before, which is wild. So this is my first time representing my own community.
How much did you all hit it off when you first met?
Best friends.
Yeah, I mean, it was instant love.
It was instant love.
They were all too young to watch the originals.
Do you really want me to stay?
Yeah. The UK version that premiered on Channel 4 in 1999, and the American one that debuted on Showtime in 2000.
In other words, for Justin to live here with you, he has to deny who he is.
Both series were about a group of gay men and their friends and families. The new cast is well aware of how rare it was back then to have shows with LGBTQ storylines front and center, instead of on the side or nowhere at all.
You know, we got big shoes to fill, and we definitely haven't approached it lightly.
The original American version was set in Pittsburgh, while this new one is in New Orleans. The cast features some well-known actors like Kim Cattrall and Juliette Lewis, in a series that reflects modern queer life.
So you're seeing a lot of trans characters, you're seeing non-binary characters.
Looking around at the friend group we've made on the show, it feels like my real life friend group.
How important is it to tell these stories right now?
It's absolutely 10,000% necessary.
It's really important to see characters like Brody and Ruthie and Mingus on TV because we're facing a lot of real life backlash.
Devin recalls one of his favorite scenes when Finn's character Mingus performs in drag for the first time. He was watching it with his straight best friend.
He's never seen drag before. The second Mingus started performing, he literally started screaming, "Let's go!" And got so excited.
Finn, what do you think when you hear that?
I'm actually emotional. I never thought that I would be able to represent myself in this way.
The show does not shy away from real-life headlines. In the first episode, a gunman opens fire inside a gay club. It's a tragedy reminiscent of the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando. Pulse survivors were actually consulted for the show.
It gives us an opportunity to look into the healing process and the rebuilding of a community after an experience like that.
The four of us are talking right now 24 hours after the elementary school shooting in Texas. What was going through your minds when that happened?
I spent my morning looking at those fourth graders' faces. I'm completely overwhelmed.
As hard as it may be, this reimagined series strives to tackle tough topics and painful realities head on.
What do you hope viewers are going to take away from the show?
I hope viewers take away that their community is out there.
It was so great to chat with all of them. We should mention you could find Queer as Folk on Peacock, part of our parent company, NBC Universal. Check out this next conversation right here on PopStart Plus.
Okay, you guys know Bowen Yang from his hilarious sketches on SNL. We could watch The Iceberg ahead a million times.
We watched, by the way, I think we did watch it on the show
did.
at least 500,000. And you know, Matt Rogers' first breakout performance in Showtime's I Love That for You.
Oh my God, we love that show. Together, these two, by the way, who are best friends, create comedy gold. First grabbing the attention on their hit podcast, Las Culturistas, and now starring in a new movie. It's called Fire Island, a Pride and Prejudice-inspired rom-com. Take a look.
Don't you even think. Do not pass on this icon. No, the defense is wrong. No, the defense is wrong. No, the defense is wrong. And Joe Pesci, how do you know?
Can you just talk a little bit about Fire Island? Because people don't. First of all, if you're living around the country, you're like, what? Where's Fire Island?
Yeah.
What is it? Give me a quick little synopsis.
Fire Island is a barrier island off the coast of Long Island. It's a wonderful vacation destination. It's been close to a century like a refuge for a lot of queer people. And the movie takes place there, and it's a modern retelling of Pride and Prejudice, written by and starring our very good friend Joel Kim Booster, one of our other best friends.
Yeah, truly, the three of us are pretty much best friends, and just being able to do this together, and the stand-in for the Bennett family is this chosen family, and we go through. It's a really faithful adaptation, actually. So I think you would love it if you love Pride.
You're an Austin head.
You're gonna love it.
There you have it, our special Pride Month edition of PopStart Plus. It was my honor and pleasure to bring it to you. We'll see you next time right here on PopStart Plus.
This morning, a remarkable team of history makers.
Yes. The Full Circle Everest Expedition recently became the first all-black climbing group to summit the world's tallest mountain. We're going to talk to them in just a few moments.
We're looking forward to that. But first, a little bit more on their remarkable journey and their hopes that it will inspire future generations of climbers. It was a groundbreaking moment on top of the world's highest peak. 7 members of the Full Circle Everest Expedition celebrating their successful summit, all while making history as the first all-black climbing group to reach the top of Mount Everest. Team leader Phil Henderson sharing the good news on Instagram, writing in part, all members of the Climb and Sherpa teams have safely returned to base camp, where we will celebrate this historic moment. After ascending Mount Rainier in Washington last year, the team set its sights to greater heights. And for months, they worked toward their Everest goal, documenting their journey along the way. The team left base camp on May 2nd to start the climb. And after a week, they shared their progress, posting on Instagram. After countless hours of training, preparing, and dedication, the team is getting ready to make a push for the summit. 3 days later, their perseverance paid off. And in one expedition, they nearly doubled the number of black climbers who have reached the peak. But for the team, scaling Mount Everest was always more than just an experience. Their intent was to inspire the next generation of outdoor enthusiasts in black communities. Climber Fred Campbell sharing the team's mission statement on Today.
I hope that they see our experience and how much we love being out on the mountain and kind of enjoying the adventure, and they're inspired to find an adventure of their own.
Now, one team's path to success, a symbol of how to make dreams a reality. Well, now let's meet some of the team. They're celebrating this morning. Rosemary Saul and Manoa Anu were 2 of the climbers who summited, and Philip Henderson is the leader of the group. He was on the mountain and saw his vision fulfilled when 7 members of the team reached the summit. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having us.
We're thrilled to have you. We know it's evening time there, and you guys are celebrating a successful summit. I'll start with you, Manoa. You're a professional climber, but this was your first time at the top of Everest. Did it meet your expectations?
Yeah, exceeded. Yeah, it's really amazing here. Up there, yeah, it's a little cold. So. There is a little thin, but down here and on the journey through, to the top of the world. Every place is amazing. Everyone is amazing. So, it's all good.
Rosemary, this is like a huge personal accomplishment for you, but it's also a big accomplishment for African Americans in general. We were talking about how only 10 African Americans have ever done this, what you guys did. What does it mean to you, and what does it mean in a greater sense?
Absolutely. And I'd say it's even bigger, as you said, only 10 African Americans. I think that's 10 black folks globally, so not even necessarily, even fewer than that, African Americans have made it to the summit. But yeah, this is a huge accomplishment just for each of us on our team, for the Full Circle team, for our Sherpa team, for all of the support that we've had. And now we're able to take this experience and take it back to our communities and tell the stories, share what we've learned of this beautiful place and culture, and hopefully inspire a future generation of outdoor enthusiasts.
No doubt you will. Phil, this is your group. You're the team leader. Explain to folks why this was so important for you. Why were you so hell-bent on getting folks to the top of Everest?
Well, there's a number of reasons, but one, I've been working in the industry now, for almost 3 decades, and when I came into it, there weren't folks like myself that I had to look to, for guidance and mentorship and so on. And not that I haven't had mentors, but after 3 decades, I kind of found myself in that place to mentor, different members of this team and so on. And so that's a part of it. But the other part is that I've had a relationship with people in Nepal and the Sherpa community, and I've helped train a lot of them in their craft of working as high altitude workers. And I just wanted to really share my love and my community with the Sherpa people, with the community that I have at home as well. So it was really important in a lot of ways, yeah.
I want to congratulate all of you. You're on top of the world in every way, and thank you so much for inspiring others.
Hear, hear.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Keep celebrating, okay?
Yes.
We heard there were a couple more.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark. How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. Ms. Lester,
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Cheers. No need to hide those.
When you say it's 5 o'clock somewhere, it literally is.
That's true.
It's 5:30 there, so.
If you recall, last week we brought you the incredible story of the first all-black team of climbers to ever summit Mount Everest. Up until 2 weeks ago, only 10 African Americans had ever reached the top. That number has nearly doubled in size, thanks to 7 members of Full Circle Everest Expedition.
Yeah, and this morning they're here with us. Their first live in-person interview. We've seen them on Zoom, but it's good to welcome you in person.
Yes.
The history-making team. All right, real quick, we want to get everyone's name. Give me your first and last name.
Philip Henderson.
Rosemary Saul.
Evan Green.
Manoa Nu'u.
Eddie Taylor.
Thomas Moore.
Abby Dion.
Fred Campbell.
Adina Scott.
Everyone got a little air time. We had to start that way. All right, guys. So this was your idea.
Yes, ma'am.
What did it feel like to finally see it come to fruition? You've been thinking about this for a long time now.
Yeah, just proud. Just feel really proud of the team, you know, and the accomplishments that, you know, we've been working for almost 3 years to make it happen.
Did you ever have any doubt?
No, not at all.
Wow.
No doubt.
Philip, I want to ask you something. You could have summited to the top,
Yes.
but instead you gave your spot to Evan. Why?
You know, there was a lot of logistics and things that need to happen, and every Everest expedition has a manager that manages things in base camp and the whole team. And I felt like if I focused on personal climbing, then that would be selfish. And they really needed me to be in that position, so I just decided not to climb.
Wow.
Do y'all
This is so
remember?
cool.
You remember Rosemary, don't you? She
Oh,
had
sure,
a
those
you had a cocktail. You were celebrating the last time.
We were, yes.
Have you had a chance to sort of sit with what you did and reflect on that moment?
You know, a little bit. With each passing day, we have a bit more time to just think about what happened. And still in the process of really realizing the accomplishment that just happened. And it's still sinking in. It's still sinking in, yeah.
What was the hardest part of this for you guys?
For me, it was more of a marathon. You know, it was almost a 2-month expedition, so it was just in it for the long haul and the process of moving up to the different camps. And the summit day was just one piece of the picture.
Phil, but just a few seconds here that we have left. What can we do to help break this barrier of access for people of color to be able to get outdoors, to be able to learn how to climb and do all this? What's necessary?
This, people getting out and doing it, you know, and showing folks that we belong out there as well. Mother Nature doesn't care what color you are, you know, but you need to get out, and it's healing. It's a healing for all of us. So, yeah.
Wow.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Very inspiring.
Hike to the base camp wearing those.
That's not true.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Did she really?
For real?
Is this true?
Oh my God, Tina.
Oh,
Whoa, all right. We can't wait to see what y'all do next. Now, to more on that remarkable story that first captured the world's attention last week. It's a Florida man. He landed that plane with 0 flying experience after the pilot suddenly became unconscious.
Well, the details that initially emerged were already stunning. And now, in a Today exclusive, Darren Harrison is sharing what happened inside that cockpit, describing a flight more harrowing and even more inspiring than we could have imagined.
I knew it was a life or death situation. Either
you do what you have to do to control the situation or you're going to die. And that's what I did.
In the most terrifying moment of his life, Darren Harrison proved calm and collected.
I've got a serious situation here. My pilot has gone incoherent.
The 39-year-old, whose career focuses on flooring sales, was traveling home from a fishing trip in the Bahamas on board a single-engine Cessna 208.
Big a deal.
Only two others were on board, the pilot and the pilot's friend.
My nightmare's always been when I go on flights like this. What happens if something health-wise happens to the pilot? What's going to happen?
You've thought about that before?
Oh, I've thought about it many a times.
Initially, Darren said everything seemed to be normal. And you didn't seem to be a nervous flyer. You took a shot at the cockpit with your feet up and back.
Yep, I was just back there relaxing.
But shortly after taking that photo, he heard from the pilot, and everything changed.
I saw he kind of did a move like this and said, guys, I got to tell you, I don't feel good. And I said, what's wrong? And he said, I got a headache and I'm fuzzy and I just don't feel right. And I said, what do we need to do? And at that point, he didn't respond at all. He was already done.
What was the position of his body in that moment?
He was still leaned back.
So he never slumped forward?
Correct. Never slumped forward at all. At that point, he wasn't responding to us yelling at him. So I moved to the front, and by the time I had moved forward to the front of the airplane, I realized that we had now gone into a dive at a very fast rate. All I saw when I came up to the front was water out the right window, and I knew it was coming quick.
The plane is in a nosedive, essentially.
Correct. Yes. And at that point, I knew if I didn't react, that we would die. And so I reached over his body, because he's at this point unresponsive. I kind of put my arm over to where my elbow is sitting here, and I grabbed the controls of the airplane and slowly started to pull back on the stick and turn.
How did you know how to do that?
Just common sense, I guess, being on airplanes, because I knew if I went up and yanked, that the airplane would stall. And I also knew at the rate we were probably going way too fast, and it would rip the wings off the airplane.
Let's just stop for 1 minute right there before you talk to any air traffic controller, before you put on any headset. The pilot is still in the seat.
Yes.
That's a miracle right there.
That's the scariest part of the whole story.
Defying death in that moment was just the first miracle that day. Darren then found himself in the pilot's seat over open ocean with no flight experience and at first, no way to call for help.
I now have the availability to climb into the seat to fly the airplane. I sit down and I'm trying to put on the headset that the pilot was wearing. And so I pull on the wires and I pull up and they're all frayed. The plug's gone off the end of the headphones. And so now I don't have a headset to use.
So now your lifeline, you're literally holding a frayed cord that could be your lifeline to talk to anyone.
Yes. So I immediately turn to the guy next to me and say, I'm gonna need your headset because I gotta talk to somebody.
The person on the ground was Captain Bobby Morgan, an air traffic controller and part-time flight instructor.
All my GPSs have gone out. I have no idea where I am. And then it was, well, what do you see? I see the state of Florida and I see a small airport. And they said, can you drop to 5,000 and maintain? And I said, I can try. I can work on it. But I'm still trying to figure this thing out.
You didn't have any shoes on.
Nope, I was barefoot. My shoes were in the back.
You're practicing going up, going down, getting the feel for the controls.
Yeah, because at some point, the realization sits in of you're gonna have to land the airplane.
There's only one way to get down.
One way.
Did it ever cross your mind that you wouldn't try? Or was it just like, I can't do this?
No. No, when I was flying and saw the state of Florida, at that second, I knew I'm gonna land the airplane. I don't know what the outcome's gonna be. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna have to land this airplane because there's no other option. At that point, we turn around and look, and the pilot's still not conscious in the back.
With Captain Morgan's guidance, Darren navigated the plane to Palm Beach International Airport.
And he kept telling me the whole time, the runway's gonna keep getting bigger as you get closer to it. Just keep focused on that and just keep descending. And I remember getting to around 200 feet and he said, hey, you're gonna need to slow down some more. You're still coming in pretty fast. And at that point, I told the other guy, I said, hey, take the throttle and dump it on the floor. just dump it on the floor as far as it'll go.
Moments later, Darren touched down on the runway.
So-
And then you slammed on those brakes with your bare feet.
I slowly feathered the brakes as I'm going down the runway. And surprisingly, I felt so comfortable with it. I radioed to the guy and I said, hey, I'm feeling pretty confident in the brakes and everything. Do you guys want me to turn off the runway so I can clear this thing out?
You offered to park.
Yeah.
And when did you exhale?
I said thank you for everything, and I threw the headset on the dash and said the biggest prayer I've ever said in my life. That's when all the emotion set in.
Can you share what your prayer was?
It was a thankful prayer for the safety and everything that had happened. But the last part of the prayer and the strongest part was for the guy in the back. Because I knew it was not a good situation. Yeah.
Your thoughts immediately turned to him.
Yes, absolutely.
And how is he?
He is expected to leave the hospital, I believe, on Monday.
Wow.
Yes.
Another miracle.
Yes. When they took him to the hospital, he was not expected to live.
Once safely on the ground, Darren's first call was to his wife, Brittany, who's pregnant with their first child, a baby girl.
Everybody's asked me, like, well, what if you would have crashed and died and you didn't get a chance to tell your wife you loved her? You could have at least called her. You could have reached out to her. You had time. In my mind, I knew I wasn't going to die. And the thought never crossed my mind to call and tell my wife bye.
But Brittany feared the worst.
I saw his name pop up on my phone, and I always calculate, like when I think he's going to land. I immediately looked at my watch and I was like, he should have 20 more minutes of flight time. So, honestly, I took a deep breath and prepared myself for it to not be him on the other line.
What was it like to hear her voice?
It was one of the biggest reliefs because I was safe.
You're 7 months pregnant, and you had been worrying about your husband for a reason.
Yeah, so a year ago in April, we lost my brother-in-law while my sister was 6 months pregnant. And when I saw his name on the phone, I told myself, I said, God, we can't do this again. I don't think I can do it again. And thankfully, we didn't have to.
Did you think about your little girl?
I did. Oh, yeah. It's one of the first things that went through my mind. As I was climbing to the front and that plane was in a dive, I was just looking, going, I can't die today. Brittany's pregnant, I got a baby on the way. Not today. Today's not my day.
An unwavering determination to survive in the air, guided by the heavens. What enabled you to manage in a crisis, a life or death emergency like that, and stay so focused and calm?
God.
You felt God's presence there?
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain how?
So everybody always asks me, how did the airplane do what it did? How did it stay together? How did you pull it out? It's the hand of God was on that plane.
Yeah. And on you.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the only thing I can attribute it to. It's no other explanation for it.
I'm speechless.
Isn't he incredible? I know. It was it was such an honor to get to speak to him. He's really incredible, so inspiring, very funny. He also said, I said, are you like a calm person? Is that kind of your thing? And he said, no.
Really?
Yeah, he said, actually, in fact, as a youngster, I was kind of hot-headed. He's like, I've been working on my dad and going to church and Bible study, trying to calm down. But it's pretty incredible. The other thing, and we'll talk about it in the third hour, but now, look, we're all aerospace engineers now, but it's like you need flaps to land the plane. And he tells this whole story about what happened when he tried to lower the flaps, and he ends up flying without flaps. So he lands without flaps, which is a thing.
His presence of mind every step of the way.
Yes.
And the fact that he said, today's not my day, to have that kind of calm confidence.
Yes. And it really was miracle upon miracle.
Yeah.
And I think he, first of all, it was overwhelming because suddenly the whole world is calling him. He goes, I didn't know there was a Today Show in Australia. I was like, that wasn't my call. But, he really wanted to, he was so worried for the pilot. Yeah. And he wanted to make sure that was going to be okay. And it sounds like it is.
Today might be the day he's out.
Yes,
huh?
I hope so. So
that was awesome.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. These are families trying to board those trains to Poland.
I also want to get home.
You'll get home. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
We're back with our series Dad's Got This, and recently I talked to a truly incredible nurse. He's also a dad, an author, and a podcaster, and he's using his own experiences to show others what it means to be a caregiver. Meet Nurse Papa, a.k.a. David Metzger, a pediatric oncology nurse working at UCSF Children's Hospital in San Francisco. David found his calling as a nurse after falling out of love with his first career as a professional sculptor. Why did you decide to become a pediatric nurse?
What I was doing wasn't feeding my soul in the way I wanted to. And, with my first pediatric patient in that first hour of that clinical rotation, I ended up taking care of a little girl who didn't have any parents at the bedside, and she was crying. So I just picked her up and started singing to her. And in that moment, I realized that she was just afraid. And I had this moment of clarity where I was like, oh, I could be a pediatric nurse, and it's something I could be really good at.
Since his career transitioned to nursing, David has become a father of 2, as well as a published author. His debut book, Nurse Papa, 16 Meditations on Parenthood from a Pediatric Oncology Nurse, was released last year. This is a book that you were writing on your phone?
That's how it started, because I had my phone in my pocket. There are so many ways to be a caregiver, and there's so many ways to be taken care of. I felt it was really important that people had access to these just rarefied situations where there's so much drama and there's so much pain and joy. Sometimes these things are unresolved and sometimes people are hurt, but we all keep growing.
David, are your kids old enough to get their heads around what it is Dad does?
Oh yeah, they see me come home in my scrubs, every night that I work. And my daughter especially, she's really interested in my patients and what I do. She's always, Papa, tell me about the hospital. Tell me what you did today.
I know that my dad is a nurse. He helps kids with cancer.
And that gets tricky sometimes, because sometimes it's hard to tell these stories. And I think by being honest with our children and being compassionate and by following their lead about what they want to know, you're preparing them to be, humane, compassionate people.
Outside of his weekly nursing shifts at the hospital, David has also been producing and hosting the Nurse Papa podcast.
Nurse Papa is brought to you by,
where he answers questions from parents in a segment called Dear Nurse Papa.
What I really want to do is to normalize the experience of being a parent. It is not easy. I have made so many mistakes. I think this morning I've made 1,000 mistakes with my kids already.
I make a lot of mistakes as well. What are some of your more common mistakes?
Yelling at my kids, I really like to yell, "Don't yell!"
Stop yelling!
Stop yelling!
Why are you yelling?
I think that if you are aware of your mistakes and that you acknowledge them, that means that you're doing an okay job.
In a nod to his artist background, David always wears a colorful stethoscope decorated with hospital wristbands given to him by his patients over the years.
This is 15 years taking care of kids. I mean, this is like my most prized possession. Some of these kids are living, some are not, but it's just been a way to remember them.
That's a beautiful thing. The sadness and the loss. How do you not take that home with you?
You do. I mean, it's just part of it. Like, I think that the opportunity to be there at bedside with these children, even when they're sick, even when they're dying, has been like the greatest gift that I've ever been given, because it's really shown me what life is all about. And it's made me a more complex, caring person.
Wow.
He's a special man. And you made a good point during the story. I mean, doctors, oncology doctors are obviously, angels among us. But the nurses, the nurses are every day. Every day. Every day.
That's great.
You can search for David's Nurse Papa podcast, by the way, wherever you listen and get your podcasts. And for more stories about incredible dads, head over to our website, today.com.
It's a can't miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong.
Elegant and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCnews.com/planyourvote today.
Imagine how exciting it must be for kids when one of the world's greatest athletes comes to visit on the last day of school.
That's amazing.
I mean, exactly. That's what you do
That's
when
awesome.
basketball great LeBron James drops by. This is the I Promise School in his hometown of Akron, Ohio. He's actually vice principal of the school, which is a partnership between Akron and the LeBron James Family Foundation. King James posed for pictures with kids, teachers too, and later posted some of those scenes from that surprise visit online, wishing the students fun and safe
That's
summer.
pretty awesome. I'm trying to
mean-
think of who showed up to our elementary school. Did you have any big names show up?
No.
Smokey the Bear once.
Yeah, exactly.
Those schools are transformative, by the way.
Yeah,
Great. He does great work on and off the court.
All right, a lot of people learned new skills and hobbies while they were stuck at home during the pandemic, like this little boy. He decided to take up the piano. Okay, 5-year-old Alberto, he lives in Italy. He started playing the piano when the pandemic began. Both his parents are musicians, and it wasn't long before they realized their son was a prodigy, especially when it came to Mozart. They say they're not strict about making him practice, so he still has time to go to school and play and watch TV and wow.
And no sheet music, right? I think he's just
Look at
playing.
him
That's
just
incredible.
playing.
How can his little hands reach
Yeah.
all those
His
keys?
little tiny fingers.
Impressive.
The answers come when you need them most. Ooh, the Today Show's newest fan.
Little Al Roker.
Oh, today all day, summer's officially here, so get outside, do something fun. Up next, Sama Dada is sharing the ultimate menu for a perfect picnic party in the park.
This is sort of like playing with Play-Doh, but it tastes good and it's edible. Play-Doh is not edible, I don't think. Play-Doh is edible? No. Why? There's no way. I just learned that Play-Doh is edible. Don't eat it though. That's disgusting. Just eat these instead. In the summer months especially, it's really nice to get outside and take advantage of your local parks. And listen, I am your dream picnic guest because I never come without the most important thing, food. So I'm gonna show you how to make 2 of my favorite recipes for your next #picnic party, my easy homemade turmeric hummus, and my favorite spiced chickpea burgers with a delicious red pepper sauce. Some may say it's sacrilegious to make hummus with canned chickpeas, but you know what? Convenience is a gorgeous thing, and you can still get a really delicious result with the canned chickpeas that have been sort of hibernating at the back of your pantry for quite some time. If you're freaked out at all by making hummus at home, just don't be, because you know what? All you need to make it is a blender. So let's start. Starting with my canned chickpeas, adding these straight to the blender. They're so cute. I'm gonna go ahead and add my tahini. You cannot have hummus without tahini. It is like peanut butter and jelly, you know what I mean? So don't forget it. You just simply can't have hummus without it. It makes it nice and earthy and creamy and flavorful. Okay. You've got those really savory flavors from that tahini, from the chickpeas, so now we need a little bit of tartness, and that's where our lemon juice comes in. Just gonna roll the lemon to release some of that juice. Lemon juice going straight in my blender. It's gonna make this hummus really bright and zingy. I will warn you, once you learn how to make this hummus at home, you may never go back to store-bought. I'm sorry, but I'm just not sorry. Perfect. Lemon is done. Now I'm gonna add in my garlic. I like using raw garlic here because it has a really punchy, flavorful taste, and we want all of that flavor in this hummus. Here's where we really spice it up, okay? We're gonna add my 3 favorite spices. I'm adding some cumin. Adding some paprika for a little hint of smoke and spice. And what would this turmeric hummus be without turmeric? It doesn't make sense. So I'm adding my turmeric in. Another reason I wanted to make a turmeric hummus is because of that gorgeous yellow color. So that's really gonna give that hummus that bright pop. It's gonna look really good on your table, I promise. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and some freshly ground black pepper. Now I'm just gonna blend. In order to get this hummus super smooth, we're gonna add a little bit of water, tablespoon by tablespoon, until it reaches our desired consistency. For me, that's very smooth and velvety and luxurious. Starting with just a bit. The trick with this hummus to get it super velvety smooth is when you reach your desired consistency, blend it for an extra 3 or 4 more times. That's gonna make it even more smooth. Like, look at that. Oh my God, I cannot wait. Let me just adjust to taste. see if it needs anything. I mean, come on. It's perfect. I'm gonna add the hummus into my bowl. Have you ever seen anything this smooth in your life? No, right? Okay. Now, let me show you how to adorn this hummus. I'm gonna smooth it out. I created a little swoosh so that the olive oil and spices have a little home. Drizzle some olive oil on top. Sprinkling with a little bit of za'atar. If you don't know what za'atar is, it's a Middle Eastern spice blend with sumac, sesame seeds, and another host of spices. It's so good. If you don't have za'atar, don't worry, you can totally omit it, but I think it tastes amazing with it. I'm gonna add a touch of paprika just for a little color. This works as a nice contrast to that bright yellow that the turmeric gives this hummus. I mean, look at how pretty that is, right? But we're not done yet. I have this gorgeous platter of fresh vegetables here, and I'm just gonna cut them and adorn them around my hummus. If you don't feel like slicing your veggies yourself, no worries. You can buy it pre-cut. I've got some time on my hands. I mean, this is art. Monet? Is that you? It's me. I think I made a masterpiece. I'm not trying to be conceited, but like, are we all looking at the same thing here? Doesn't this make you want to be one of my picnic guests? Maybe? So pretty. Need to take a picture. My phone really does eat first. I know that's cliche, but it's kind of true. Oh my God, I was immediately taken aback by how pretty this looked. I cracked myself up. I'm taking like 20,000 pictures. I think 12 would have been fine, but okay. I think I got the shot. Can confidently say I got the shot. I'm gearing up. Okay. This is the most both exciting and tragic part of making hummus, is that part where you ruin the art. But it's okay. This is what it's for. Okay, I'm going in. Did that make you all feel things? Because I just felt really emotional. Okay, ready to taste. It's so good. Something so flavorful paired with a simple, crisp vegetable, just like, these vegetables just gotta glow up. Thanks to this hummus, it's art. It's art. No picnic would be complete without a sandwich, so I'm gonna show you how to make my favorite chickpea burger with a red pepper sauce. I'm gonna go grab the ingredients.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Hey, who's this?
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCnews.com/planyourvote today.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
To turn your favorite hummus into my red pepper special sauce, first cut 2 peppers in half and de-seed them. Then roast the red peppers at 450 degrees for about 25 minutes. After removing the peppers from the oven, they'll need to be steamed for 10 to 15 minutes. You can do this by inverting a glass bowl over the peppers onto a cutting board. Sealing the peppers creates steam, making it easier for the skins to peel right off. Remove the pepper peels and discard. Yep, they're a little slippery. Roughly chop the red peppers into large pieces. Add 2 cups of your favorite hummus to a high-speed blender. Homemade or store-bought will do just fine. Now, drop in your roasted red peppers. Blend the mixture until it's well combined and super smooth. Now, this special sauce is ready to be spread on anything your heart desires.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. These are families trying to board those trains to Poland.
I also want to get home.
You'll get home.
Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly.
Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark. How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? You telling us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. It was Lester.
Having a good veggie burger recipe in your back pocket is sort of like having your best friend on speed dial. It's pretty useful. And I don't know if people are really using speed dial anymore, but you get the point. My chickpea burgers are deliciously spiced, they're super hearty, and they're perfect for when you want something substantial that still happens to be plant-based. First things first, I want this burger to have a lot of complex layers of flavor, so I'm gonna saute some onion and garlic to put in it. Just gonna dice my red onion. I'm only using half here. I'm using a red onion here because I really like that it adds that nice sweetness. It's gonna be so good in this veggie burger. Also, aesthetically speaking, I know it's what's on the inside that counts, but aesthetically speaking, these red onions are really pretty. That purpley red, we love it. Red onions are diced. I'm now gonna mince my garlic. Great way to mince garlic. All you're gonna do is take your clove, use the flat edge of your knife, get some of your aggression out, and then start mincing. I'm gonna do this with all of the rest of my cloves. Garlic, it's our friend, okay? You may smell like garlic for 3 days after cooking with it, but it's worth it. It's worth the price you have to pay. We want to extract all of that garlicky flavor. It's so good. And we're mincing it really finely so that we can get out all of that flavor, all of that aroma, all of that garlic perfume that will plague you for the next 3 days. All right. Now I'm gonna heat my pan and add some olive oil. My oil is shimmering, and now I'm gonna go ahead and add my onions. Got some resistant ones in here. Don't worry, you're gonna become a burger. Something to celebrate. All right. We want these onions to be tender, translucent, starting to brown around the edges. When we get a little bit of that caramelization, it's gonna impart so much flavor onto these burgers. And you might be wondering, why didn't we add the garlic with the onions? But we can't do that because the garlic takes a lot less time to cook, so if we added with the onions, it would burn, and that's not cute. My onions look perfect. They're nice and golden brown around the edges. They're tender, translucent, which means it's time for the garlic. Okay. Doesn't need too much time to become a little brown, about 2 minutes. Don't forget, and I'm reminding you here, to season with salt and pepper. Flavor is our friend. We always want more of it. Okay, this looks amazing. The garlic is nice and golden. It's got some color. I'm gonna set this aside to cool and then get to work on the base of my burger. For the base of this burger, I'm starting with some cashews. I know that sounds crazy, but cashews are buttery and delicious. They really allow this veggie burger to be hearty and meaty without any actual meat. So I'm gonna add that into my food processor. I'm using raw cashews here, unsalted, completely raw. This is important. All I'm gonna do is process these cashews into a nice fine powder, kind of like a flour. Looks pretty good. All right, this looks perfect. Let me just show you the texture real quick. It's sort of like this nice flour, you can see. It's gonna be a really hearty base for this burger. Okay, cashews are done. Now we're gonna move on to the rest of my ingredients. Now I'm gonna add some flaxseed meal. This is gonna be really great as a binder for these burgers. It's sort of like a vegan replacement for an egg. Okay, looking cozy in there. And because I can't live my life without any spice, it just simply is not possible, I'm gonna add my spices. Starting with a little paprika. And just know, these spices aren't gonna make it spicy, right? It's gonna be flavorful, it's gonna add a lot of body and taste. That's what we like. A little bit of turmeric. Yum. Some cumin. And finally, some coriander. This is a chickpea burger, so we gotta add our chickpeas. These are just drained. And now we're gonna process. It's okay if this mixture isn't fully pulverized. It's kind of nice to have a little bit of that chickpea texture, so don't sweat it if you've got a little chickpea hanging out in there. Now I'm just gonna add some olive oil, and then remember my onions and garlic from earlier? These are going in there as well. A little olive oil. And then my onions and garlic. Perfect. Okay, you probably guessed this, but we're gonna process one more time. My mixture is looking amazing. Gonna transfer it to a bowl. Just transferred my patty mixture into my bowl, and you'll notice it's kind of thick and sticky, which is great because then we'll be able to form it into patties really nicely. Because I want this to have a little bit of zest, a little bit of something herby, I'm just gonna add some cilantro in here. You can totally use parsley if cilantro freaks you out, I won't judge you. I'm just gonna roughly tear them. I like those big pieces of herbs, but if you want it smaller, you can totally chop it. Okay. Mix that in. And now we're ready to form them into patties. A couple things I want to do before I form these into patties. First, remove all my rings, because I wear like 12,000. And now I'm going to oil my hands just to make sure that nothing sticks to them. Just a little on here, just a little. Using extra virgin olive oil. I think you're moisturizing your hands, but you're really just prepping to make your burgers. Okay, here we go. It's very fun, very therapeutic, and look how well this sticks together. So I'm gonna form these into like a little ball at first, and then I'll flatten them out into patties. You can really make these as big or as small as you'd like. I'm going for like a major burger situation, but you can also make little small burgers as well if you want little bite-sized snacks, if you want to throw them on a salad. They're very versatile. See how virtually nothing is sticking to my hands? We can thank the extra virgin olive oil for that. You've got a lot of really hearty elements in this burger, the cashews, the chickpeas. It allows it to stick together, but also allows you to feel really satiated. It's really delicious and just a really great way to eat a veggie burger that's exciting. I'm gonna put these in the oven at 375 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. Make sure you flip them once halfway through baking. And if you don't wanna eat them now, don't worry, you can freeze them for another day. They're perfect for meal prep.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. I appreciate Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
I mean, is this a joke? Look at this. That crisp golden exterior? It looks so beautiful. If you did want it to be a little more crisp on the outside, feel free to sear them. But to me, this looks perfect. It's time to assemble my burger. I'm very excited. I've got my bun, got my tomatoes, my lettuce, and I have a little red pepper special sauce to go in the burger as well. So I'm gonna go for it. Got my bun. I like a lot of sauce, so I'm gonna go ahead and be generous here. This is gonna add more flavor, a little bite, and some nice color too. I'm gonna spread both sides of the burger, both buns, here as well. The red pepper sauce is like tangy, a little sweet. These are roasted red peppers. Okay. Now for my star, go ahead and add one of my burgers. Straight onto my bun. It's like it was meant to be there. It's almost upsetting how perfect it looks on that burger bun. Okay, gonna add a little fresh tomato and some lettuce for some greens in my life. Okay, time for that other bun. I mean, come on, look at that. Doesn't that look good? Look at the colors. I gotta take a picture. Doesn't it look good? Okay. Oh my God, look at that. All of those layers of flavor. That looks really good. Okay, is it time? I'm nervous I'm not gonna eat this in a cute way at all, but I guess it really doesn't matter. Okay, here I go. I'm gonna go from this side. This seems more approachable to me. Okay, here we go. I mean, this chickpea burger is so well spiced, so well seasoned. I think I need another bite. It seems like I must take another bite. Okay. It's just simply not right. It's simply not right how good it is. That red pepper special sauce though, ties everything together. See, this is why I'm everyone's favorite picnic guest. I do stuff like this, and then they always invite me again. You can be that person too. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Okay, I'm going in. Someone has to stop me. Someone has to stop me. I'm gonna keep eating this. No one's gonna stop me? Okay. All right. Going to Central Park is one of my favorite things to do in New York. It's the perfect place for a picnic party. I invited my sister and my best friend for a little afternoon lunch. Hey! What's up? Come on. Okay guys, look at my crudité prata.
Yeah, I'm eyeballing it.
I cannot live my life without hummus, and I love bringing it to a picnic because it's easy to pack and snack on. We love a fresh veg.
And a
yeah, hummus is so good. What do you think?
Hummus is so good.
My chickpea burger is one of my favorite plant-based meals. It's hearty and comforting, plus it's great hot or room temp. Oh, I like that you're taking photos. That makes me happy. Are you contemplating? Okay, cheers. 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 Cheers.
It looks like Shake Shack, honestly.
It looks like Shake Shack. It's nice. Okay.
Doesn't it? This looks fake. It's like a Krabby Patty.
There's nothing I love more than sharing my food with the people that I love, and a picnic is a great place to do it.
Let's Okay.
Hello and welcome to our Today All Day Pride special. Pride is universal, better together. I'm Joe Fryer. In the next half hour, we're going to highlight stories affecting the LGBTQ community, stories of hope, healing, and inspiring individuals making this world a more inclusive place. We begin in Memphis with the story of Kayla Gore. While homelessness is a national issue, finding safe shelter can be difficult, especially for transgender individuals. Kayla's organization is hoping to change that by building houses and putting more than a roof over the heads of those in need. Take a look. It's a city known for its barbecue and blues, but just minutes from the hustle and bustle of Beale Street, Memphis, Tennessee is also home to a vibrant yet vulnerable transgender community that faces social and economic challenges.
We're in the Bible Belt of the South, and it's a red state in terms of housing access and discrimination, employment access and discrimination. There's no real legal protections for trans people.
Nationally, 1 in 5 trans individuals is said to have experienced homelessness at some point in their life, and nearly a third live in poverty. Those figures are even higher when you account for race.
I was born and raised here in Memphis, Tennessee.
When Kayla Gore was just 23 and newly transitioning, she experienced homelessness while living 1,500 miles from the city where she grew up.
It was very, very scary.
After returning to Memphis, she entered a transitional housing program and began working with Out Memphis, the local LGBTQ community center. During that time, Kayla says she started to see a lot of trans and queer people kicked out of their homes at the age of 18, some rejected by their families. While there are services for individuals experiencing home insecurity in Memphis, many are faith-based.
There's lots of anti-LGBTQ rhetoric, and more importantly, a lot of those shelters are separated by sex assigned at birth. You're forced into a situation of either outing yourself or staying closeted in an environment where you could be incredibly unsafe.
There's also a lot of trans folks of color here, so then you also kind of double down with racism. They have a lot stacked up against them.
The pandemic exacerbated that. A survey by the Trevor Project found last year more than 80% of trans and non-binary youth said COVID-19 led to a more stressful living situation. Hoping to change that, Kayla, who'd been able to purchase her own home, which she shared with others who found themselves experiencing homelessness, founded My Sister's House.
We wanted to provide like a space where people can thrive and they can actually start to grow and heal the trauma that they had, experienced in their youth.
Originally a word-of-mouth program, My Sister's House aimed to provide emergency services and shelter to trans and queer people of color.
It's for us, by us. Like, it's trans people at the helm of it, and it's from a perspective of someone who's been there. I was homeless as a youth, so I remember what it was like being vulnerable.
As My Sister's House evolved, so did their mission. Now the group is aiming to build 20 homes for trans women in Memphis.
It's safe to say that I did not come from a background of building houses or working with plumbing and electrical, but it is safe to say that I came from a family that had really love and compassion for the community that they live in.
Originally planning to build tiny homes, they're now renovating existing homes because of the rising costs of everything, including lumber. Using a lottery of individuals they've previously helped, recipients get more than a shelter. They actually own the house.
It's a different feeling when you have your own place.
Jeanette Adams moved into her home just a few months ago.
It's a tiny house, but it's big to me.
Jeanette had been living with her mom and has a supportive family, but being able to live on her own has boosted her confidence.
I felt free. A lot of people, especially trans women, we don't get a chance to own anything.
Kayla says that's exactly what she's hoping to provide those selected to receive a house.
Trans people are boxed out of economics in so many different ways that we have to build our own economics. This is how people built generational wealth 100 years ago, where their families had small homes. So it's nothing new that we're doing. It's just that we're doing a unique thing for a community that really deserves it.
Just a couple miles from Jeanette's home, crews are replacing the electrical system at another property.
This will be our 5th house that will be occupied.
Modee James will soon call this 2-bedroom home her own sanctuary.
I'm ecstatic about it because it would be mine. It would be my home, not my house.
Modee says she does not feel safe in her current living arrangement.
I've been trying to get a home on my own. They take you through the ringer, and they expensive. I see nothing, and I live nothing but poverty. I'm trying to overcome it.
LGBTQ advocates in Memphis say My Sister's House is giving people more than a place to live.
It also created visibility and hope and inspiration for the trans community and for trans people of color here in the South that just wasn't there before.
If I had the opportunity to receive the resources that we provide today, I couldn't imagine what my life would be like.
Kayla hopes to expand and replicate what My Sister's House has done in other cities. And she also hopes the program has something of an expiration date.
I would want the legacy of My Sister's House to be that we came, we conquered, and we disappeared because we no longer were needed.
My Sister's House operates mostly through donations and grants. A GoFundMe for the group has generated more than $300,000. Kayla says they have a goal to build and renovate 20 homes by the end of next year. Coming up, Craig chats with the sole openly gay professional baseball player in the league. Plus, this cattle ranch has become a social media sensation for its grass-fed beef and the queer farmers behind the brand. Stay with us.
Haley Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCNews.com/planyourvote today.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
Baseball, America's favorite pastime. We might sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, but it's a profession that only has one out player, Brian Ruby. Craig recently caught up with Brian to hear about his experiences as a gay professional baseball player and how his dad's support has made all the difference. Take a look.
Meet Brian Ruby, the only openly gay professional baseball player in the United States. Brian's in Oregon.
I decided that I'd come out to my teammates last season by lacing up with rainbow shoelaces during Pride Month. I considered it more like inviting in than coming out. Yep, this is who I am.
You threw me one curveball.
Brian's dad, John, whose last name the family would like to keep private, was Brian's high school baseball coach and, as to be expected, has always been his son's biggest fan. When did you know that Brian was going to be a baseball player?
Something clicked around 6 or 7, and he got passionate about baseball, and we were always on the baseball field.
John had some success of his own on the diamond, playing Division I ball as a pitcher at the University of Pennsylvania and then overseas in Australia. That experience led him to have some initial fears about his son's baseball career when Brian shared his plans to go public about his sexuality. In your heart of hearts, did you think it would change his opportunities?
I was worried about how he would be perceived in that world. There were a million things running through my mind, but what I wanted him to know in that moment was, I'm good, and you're good.
And he wasn't just good, he was great. After tying up his rainbow laces and coming out to his teammates and the public overall, Brian's batting average skyrocketed a full 90 points. So what was it like last season?
I don't know if I'm gonna get applauded when I run onto the field, or if I'm gonna be in the batter's box and get hit by a 93-mile-an-hour fastball in the head. The real thing that happened was I got a hit, my first at bat, and got on base, and the pitcher tipped his cap, and I just gave him a little tip back, and that peer-to-peer on-field recognition was by far the most meaningful thing in the game of baseball.
And Brian's not only talking openly about his own story, he's also co-founder of Proud to Be in Baseball, an organization that supports and advocates for ball players of all ages who are looking for gay mentors in the sport. Brian's work with Proud to Be in Baseball has taken him around the country to attend pride events at a number of MLB ballparks. In September of 2021, he was invited to sing the national anthem at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, say, can you see?
In addition to being quite the baseball player, you're a budding country music star.
All the best things come out of left field when you are who you are and do what
I always loved country music, and I've been writing songs. I always have my guitar on the road during baseball, playing on the team bus.
I mean, which do you enjoy more, baseball or country music?
I gotta be careful because the baseball coach is.
No, you're good. You're good.
It sounds like
You're
it's
good.
neck and neck.
Look, you can only be a baseball player for so long.
It's true. I would imagine, Dad, you have to be quite proud.
What I'm most proud about with Brian in general is he just goes for it. What do you want to see from your kids? You want to see them thrive.
I mean, that's a testament to good parenting, too. I mean, that's what I hear.
When we come back, the spotlight is on LGBTQ youth and the generational shift of coming out in this digital world. Stay with us.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate it. We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. These are families trying to board those trains to Poland.
I also want to get home.
You'll get home. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back. Now we focus on the future and the advances the next generation is making when it comes to coming out. I sat down with 5 students at the University of Central Florida to hear about their experiences with coming out. Take a look.
They're called Gen Z, but many young adults proudly embrace 5 other letters, LGBTQ.
I'm a lesbian.
I'm gay.
I'm bisexual.
I'm transgender.
I'm queer.
A recent Gallup poll found that among Gen Z adults, those between the ages of 18 and 25, about 21% identify as LGBTQ. 21%. That's 1 in 5.
When you heard that number, what was your reaction?
I really wasn't surprised. Our generation isn't really scared to actually say that
we're part of the community and we're actually proud of who we are.
With the help of Campus Pride, a national group supporting LGBTQ college students, we gathered this group of Gen Zers: Eddie, Nick, Marcus, Sierra, and Mary. They go to the University of Central Florida and are part of the first generation to totally grow up in a digital world.
Social media, how important was that to you when you were younger?
Oh, social media, it was like everything to me because it really helped me form a sense of myself.
I remember writing in my diary as a kid that I had a crush on a boy just over and over and over, just to pray that eventually I'll convince myself that I do. And I got introduced to these online communities, and I finally saw, oh wait, I'm not a freak. There are people out there who feel the same way that I do. And that realization saved my life.
And I don't want to add more stress to your day, but I love you.
They could also see themselves reflected in traditional media, movies, and TV shows.
Growing up and seeing even the smallest bits of representation in like LGBTQ plus characters and everything of that sort is just made me feel, like not alone. And it made me feel like kind of understood.
And perhaps no endorsement had a greater impact than the one delivered by the Supreme Court in 2015.
Now to that historic Supreme Court decision legalizing same-sex marriage across the land.
All of it creates a sense of belonging that mental health experts say is vital.
The messaging that Gen Zers have is like it's okay to be who you are and to love who you love and to talk about that and celebrate that.
A majority of LGBTQ Gen Zers say they're bisexual, and among those 5 letters, a growing number of young people identify as queer, which is perhaps most simply defined as not straight.
I present as a boy, but I love pink or I love like feminine things, but at the same time I could also like masculine things, and I don't need to be in that set like binary.
For your generation, it's easier to come out than say my generation, but it's not easy, is it?
No, definitely not.
For me, coming out was always sort of like bouncing off a brick wall and bouncing off the brick wall and bouncing until eventually I can make a dent.
I feel like there's this huge disconnect. Oh, being queer is like a trend, but these are people's identities. These are people really putting themselves on the line and putting themselves in a place where they could be in danger.
All of them grew up in more conservative communities in Florida. It's a state that's making headlines this year for passing legislation that prohibits classroom instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity for many younger students.
We're going to make sure that parents are able to send their kid to kindergarten without having some of this stuff injected into their school curriculum.
What critics call the Don't Say Gay law.
Now you're just trying to control and minimize us and just kind of shove us back even more, but I think it only just kind of makes us push back harder.
So when you look at the future, do you have optimism?
Yes, definitely.
We have always been here, and now we are saying we're here. We are letting the world know that we accept ourselves, we love ourselves, and we're not going to back down.
One major reason it's easier for younger people to come out, society is more accepting. 70% of Americans now approve of same-sex marriage. And here's a really important stat about acceptance. LGBTQ youth who have at least one accepting adult in their lives were 40% less likely to report a suicide attempt. According to Harvard's Life in Rural America surveys, less than 5% of the rural population identifies as LGBTQ. But Bastrop Cattle Company is working to change that. The grass-fed beef brand has taken TikTok by storm, amassing millions of views and likes about their grass-fed beef while influencing a new generation of farmers within the ranching community. Take a look.
The first video that I made ended up going viral for about 9 million views on TikTok, and it's just me yelling at cows. Normally me being sassy with them because some of them are just real troublemakers.
Come on, girls!
I did not expect that people would be so interested in just a gay man yelling at cows.
That gay man is Max Kremke. He, along with husband Brandon Raisler and Patty Jacobs, own Bastrop Cattle Company. This trio is changing outdated stereotypes of cattle ranchers. Their farmhouse is even pink.
I think that rural Texas gets painted with a broad brush, that it's going to be intolerant or traditional. I get the sense from a lot of people in certain areas that they don't see that many gay ranchers around. And it is really interesting because everybody's been very warm and accepting.
There are some decent numbers of women that are going back into farming and ranching. And there's always been kind of a history of women ranching in Texas. Y'all be nice. The ranch has been in the family since 1970, and I grew up here.
Patty left the ranch for 2 decades after college, but then decided to come back home, taking over the family ranch in 2006. Patty and brother Cleve transitioned it to an entirely grass-fed operation.
The calves are born here. So the majority of the animals have always been here their entire lives. They're really bred to live on this ranch and get the most out of the grass that we have here.
As Patty and Cleve were growing their herd, Cleve died of lung cancer in 2013. Patty needed more hands to run the farm.
I ran for office and met Max's husband, Brandon. And pretty soon Brandon was helping me with the business, even though we lost the campaign. And we just kind of grew it from there. And then Max came into it about 3 years ago.
City boy, never ever thought that I would be living out in rural Texas.
Hey, Elijah. Hey, big boy.
I met my husband about 11 years ago, and he was from a small town, and I'm from Austin. We immediately fell in love. We knew that we were the right one for each other. And it was so interesting because he's always been really passionate about cattle ranching. Sorry, I know.
Bastrop's cattle are raised without hormones or antibiotics on chemical-free pastures. The trio selectively breed the animals to thrive in central Texas, from enduring drastic weather changes to scavenging for local plants.
And we call our cows hustlers because we expect them to hustle. They eat the grass, but they also eat the oak leaves, they eat cactus.
The labor-intensive process yields beef that is well marbled and tender despite the cow's grass-only diet. For nearly a decade, Bastrop sold most of its premium meat to restaurants, but demand shifted radically during the pandemic.
We had to pivot within a 2-week period to 100% direct, and then we were backed up 6 months.
We didn't know if we could ship beef. I was delivering all of the beef myself.
Now we're in a completely different area. We're boxing it and we're shipping it, and we could get it anywhere in Texas in 2 days.
Max's background in film production and marketing helped support their new venture. He built a new website and launched a social campaign targeted at a new demographic.
A lot of places that we saw do kind of like what I'd consider to be like man meat. We actually kind of chose to go a different way on ours by being more inclusive in terms of our brand language and how we try to appeal. We try to direct it more towards the woman in the household because they're the ones who are going to be making the decision about what goes in that freezer. Customers really love knowing where their beef comes from, and so they keep on coming back, and we're happy to have them.
But it's not only sales that have grown for Bastrop. Their ranch is famous on TikTok. Max's TikTok account has more than 4 million likes. He's hoping to inspire a new generation of more diverse farmers by sharing his love for agriculture.
You my sweet, sweet boy. You let me rub around on your horns. You let me go under the chin.
Whenever somebody's like, oh, you really inspire me as a gay man doing this, which I'm not trying to do that. I'm not setting out to be like, I'm an icon and a hero for being a rancher. What I think is really important is just trying to normalize that idea, normalize the fact that it's not just one type of person that's involved. It's everybody is invited. All of the women, the gays, everybody else getting involved in agriculture is actually providing a lot of new energy and new innovation.
Unlike Max, Brandon prefers to stay out of the spotlight and focus on caring for the herd. The trio built a business that feels more like a family.
We kind of take care of each other and believe in the same sort of ethics and moral.
Patty hopes that Max and Brandon will eventually take over the business, as the two share Patty's vision of farming her family's land for years to come.
There's something special about this. It's not just that I'm a woman and he's gay, we want something that we can feel comfortable with, that we can steward on through and continue doing it, where it's a brand that you've heard about for a really long time and you know that you can depend on it.
Our Pride special continues after the break.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Hey, who's this?
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody good, and that's it.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back. From lipstick to eyeshadow, beauty products allow users to feel like better versions of themselves. And now the world of beauty is more expansive with the rise of gender-inclusive beauty brands. Take a look.
For years, the beauty industry has marketed products towards an exclusive audience.
So how come you're putting lipstick on?
The girl's always got to look her best.
But now, gender-inclusive beauty brands are redefining beauty standards beyond the binary.
When we speak about gender inclusivity and gender-expansive identities, what we really mean by that is that anybody can express any aspect of their self as they'd like regarding gender.
Laura Kraber was inspired by her experience as a parent to create We Are Fluid in 2018.
I've just been so inspired by the young people who are leading a societal shift and creating a more expansive understanding of gender identity. I just felt like now was the time to create a brand that was welcoming to people of all skin tones, all gender expressions, all gender identities.
Laura was onto something. 69% of Gen Z and millennials are looking for more brands that offer gender-inclusive products, according to a report from YPulse, a youth marketing research company. Now, many are turning frustration into fuel to start their own beauty brands.
I was inspired to create Dragon Beauty after being a little frustrated that the beauty industry wasn't reflecting someone like myself as a trans woman in the marketplace. I feel like beauty really needs to match the world. The world is colorful and people come in an array of a spectrum and in different sizes, shapes, ethnicities, you name it.
Patrick Starr created One Size to encourage kindness and expression.
It's important for me to share the voices of the unseen and the unheard in my community because once upon a time, I was one of those customers. I was scared to buy makeup. I felt like I was going to be judged. I felt like no one was going to accept me. The One Size brand mission is to represent everyone through beauty. Makeup is a one-size-fits-all.
To keep up with high demand, these brands are shifting their focus to incorporate inclusivity and representation, from products to marketing and beyond.
We really need to champion those that are unconventional and different.
I think we're all tired of seeing the same type of model again and again. I think we're living through a moment where that is really changing, and I think in 10 years we'll see even more change.
For me, it's so important to have trans models, to have models of color, to have a workspace that reflects the room that I want to be in.
For these founders, personal experience led to products that are changing the world of beauty for the better.
I was wanting to look in the mirror and see the woman that I felt inside. These beauty products really helped me find who I was and have always been my protective armor in facing the world.
I wasn't born like this. I didn't get to wake up like this. But if I can put on a little bit of sequins and lashes and lipstick, I can really feel confident in being who I really want to be. And that's for everybody too.
Through their efforts, gender-inclusive brands are redefining what beauty should be and reminding the world how beauty should make you feel.
Thank you for joining me this half hour to celebrate Pride is Universal. I'm Joe Fryer. We'll see you next time on Today All Day.
My name is Harry Smith from NBC News, and welcome to this session of the Atlantic Festival. We're here to talk about a new series on Showtime called American Rust, based on the novel by Philip Meyer. And joining us now, Jeff Daniels and Dan Futterman. Jeff, you know, Dan, you know, for lots of different reasons, not the least of which is Dan's amazing role in Birdcage and being the incredible screenwriter of everything from Capote to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And Jeff Daniels, we think, is coming back to work soon in New York, and we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later on. Good morning and good afternoon and good day to you both. Thank you for taking the time to chat.
Very welcome.
Jeff, how did this novel, when did it first come on your screen, and what did you think or see or feel about it that you said, let's do this?
2009, I was in the city, New York City, and there was a reading of a new novel by a new author, debut novel, a guy named Philip Meyer. My agent at the time was, down the hall from the lit department, and they were either had Philip or they were chasing him. And Paul Martino said, let's go down and hear this guy read, because Paul was always looking for books in the event that maybe my career would get to a place where I could get something made. And so we went down, listened to Philip read some of his book, met him, bought the book, read it, and said, yeah, this is something I could do. But I was in no position as an actor to get anything done. So we just kind of kept an eye on it. And then later on, I was in the middle of doing Mockingbird, and it came back saying, are you still interested? We knew you were attached at one time. And I contacted Dan and said, do you see something in this that remind me why I'm still, interested in this? Because it had been too long. It had been almost 10 years, and Dan loved it. And that's what got it going.
There is an authenticity to this that is undeniable if you're like me from the Rust Belt. Did you see that too, Jeff?
I did. I think more so now than maybe back then. I still live in Michigan. I'm around these people. I've kind of come to the conclusion that I am one of these people, that I grew up working class. I worked at my dad's lumber company. I was level, eye to eye with these guys, driving truck, making deliveries, and their worlds and their loves and their hates and their likes and dislikes. And I think that if the acting thing hadn't worked out and I didn't meet my wife of 42 years, Del Harris there are elements of Del Harris that would have been, Cabin in the Woods with a Dog. Yeah.
I think I still aspire to that.
I know. John Hyman wrote a movie I was in, and one of the lines is, hell is other people. And so I related. And then now with everything the country's going through, that there are people like these people who just are near the bottom or close enough where they can see it. They're still good people. All they did was work for the steel company for generations. Their father did, and then they leave. Same thing with the car companies in Detroit. These people are just looking for somebody to tell them the damn truth and maybe get a break once in a while, so they can live a normal, ordinary life. That's what I identified with.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCNews.com/plan your vote today.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. These are families trying to board those trains to Poland.
I also want to get home.
You'll get home. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
When you're confronted with a novel, as you've done in the past, or some extant piece of writing, say, all right, let's turn this into something. What was your biggest challenge with, and especially in this context, American Rust?
Well, the book is so good. And yeah, Jeff came to me and he said, essentially, remind me what I love about this. Something for a lot of years, and Jeff was in and out of that process. You can lose touch with that. So you can go down a kind of a rabbit hole. And Philip wrote this book in a kind of a first person that jumps from character to character. And so in a lot of interior monologue. And so for one, it was turning that into dialogue. And then there's a choice of what works and what doesn't on film. There's a choice of what relationships to develop essentially as they are in the book, or to change completely for various reasons. The best email I got was when Philip saw the pilot and said, wow, I love what you've done with this. I mean, what a pleasure and what a sigh of relief, because he wrote something beautiful and you want to expand on it, but you don't want to screw it up.
Right. Dan, I think, especially from my perspective, as I say, coming from the Rust Belt, I see so many portrayals of that place that feel to me as not, well, I'll just say it, feel false, feel like we're from 30,000 feet and we're looking down on you some way. Dan, as a writer, what was your responsibility to actually give voice to the people that Jeff was describing just a little while ago?
Part of it is that a lot of the stories of middle America, I guess, are told, it seems to me, from an outsider's perspective, which is not necessarily a bad thing to do. There are great shows made like that. Ozark is one of them, where people from metropolitan area are plunked down for whatever reason in a foreign land. And so it's told essentially from their perspective. That's a terrific show. That's their choice, and that's fine. This is a very different kind of show. It's an insider view of it, and there's hopefully no filter. Look, I don't think people are all that different from one another. And I wanted to try to inhabit each of the characters. As I was writing it, Adam Rapp is co-showrunner. Adam's from Joliet, Illinois. And so he was kind
ding,
of
ding, 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 ding. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, he's like a truth tester.
That's that place.
Yeah, in the room. And his mom was, he was raised by a single mom who is a prison nurse for many, many, many years. And so having Adam both in the room and writing scripts and doing some rewriting when it needed to be done was essential. And so there was a lot of, Adam, what do you think of this? And he'd say yes or no, both with expanded stories that we did and with dialogue that was written from events in the novel. So
right, yeah,
people are people, and then also Adam is a huge.
For those who don't know, Joliet is home of Stateville Prison, and all you need to know is Stateville Prison to know the rest of the story.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Today. We've got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicki has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Jeff, I need to talk to you about this police chief you play, because he acts like he's the moral compass of this town, but at the same time, he's absent true north on his compass.
Sure.
It's very interesting because there's a scene in the show where they're in the medical examiner's room, and there are all the lines of all the bodies that have been collected, and the cause of death is drug overdose, drug overdose, drug overdose, drug overdose, drug overdose, and then finally a homicide. There isn't anyone, it seems to me, who's in this that isn't compromised in some way by drug use or drug abuse.
It's everywhere. Part of what I did to kind of get to that authenticity, I read countless books about the American overdose was one. I saw Alex Gibney's, Dan and I worked with Alex on Looming Tower. I saw his documentary on the opioid crisis. It's there. It's there. It's the receptionist at the real estate office who's dealing crystal meth so she can put her kid through college. You know, you're making choices that are bad in order to do a good thing. And that's kind of where Del Harris, he's trying to hang on to what is right. And yet he makes some choices on his way to getting whatever that is. And in this case, it's the undying love of a woman who's already broken his heart. It's wonderfully complicated and much. And I think back to your point, Harry, about middle of the country and how 30,000 feet looking down. They're just simpletons. They aren't that smart, and they deserve what they get. And that's not the people I live around in Michigan, and it's not these people. They're still good people, and they're still trying to hang on to a decency and a civility and a respect for each other, and trying to do what's right in a world full of wrong. And that's what got me really interested in playing him. The other thing too is we did an acting thing on this, which helped. We didn't want Hollywood polish. We didn't want it to be that thing where it feels false. We want you to feel like you're a fly on the wall. We want the actors to forget the camera and just talk to each other. And so there was an acting approach to this that really kind of non-rehearsal, bare staging, you know where you're going to go, roll camera, and it happens in front of the camera. When it happens in front of the camera, you're connected with each other, which is different than leaning towards the camera in a close-up and beautiful lighting, even though you're in the middle of Southwest Pennsylvania.
Can I say just something? Can I say something just about the drug? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I'm going to bring up Pennsylvania again, because Pennsylvania ends up being a major character in this whole series. But go ahead, Dan.
Oh yeah.
I just want to say something about the drug use. There's a line in the pilot where the judge says, everybody in the hollers on one thing or another. To me, this is a comment not just about illicit drugs, and it's a comment about America generally. I mean, what he's referring to, he's on diabetes medication. He just injected himself in the stomach with insulin. Grace is taking Advil. I am on 2 different medications, one for heart condition and one for seizure disorder. My wife takes something else. I bet you guys are on something. It's a and how many kids do we know are on some ADD medication? Or it's a comment about America, not just about this place where, yes, there's also an opioid issue. And so there have been some comments about this, and I think a misunderstanding about this, that, everybody's on opioids in the show. And it's absolutely not true. It's America has a prescription drug issue that is absolutely pervasive. And that's part of what I was saying about not looking down on this. This speaks to everywhere. This speaks to Brooklyn, where I'm living in different ways than it may speak to Southwest Pennsylvania, but it speaks to it.
It is. So let's talk about Pennsylvania for a second, because the novelist, Philip Meyer, is from the Baltimore area, but he saw some of this decline that we've seen all over the country. It's even it's rural America. It's all over the place. But he said, I don't want this in Baltimore. So he goes to do this discovery in the Pittsburgh area. And to be able to see these things, those hills, the Monongahela River, the rusted out hulks of former industrial America, from my perspective, creates its own character and gives that extra level of authenticity to all of this. Jeff.
Exactly. It's as much a character in the thing as I am. It really is. It was essential that we shoot it there, and I was glad Showtime stuck to their guns and put it there, even in the middle of the pandemic. They could have taken it somewhere else, but they didn't. And you're right. That's everywhere we point the camera, you see it. You see that character of Southwest Pennsylvania.
Dan.
Yeah, not just in visuals. And Buell is made up of a number of different towns around the Monongahela Valley, but also in the actors. We had a lot of local actors. There's a big community in Pittsburgh, a big theater community who had not worked in a long time because theaters were shut and film business was shut. And we were thrilled to have them. They were happy to have the work, and they add a level of authenticity to this that I was really delighted by.
Let me just ask Jeff one more question, because as I've said earlier, he used to have a job here in New York, and I understand. Are you coming back to that job, or do you want to come back to that job?
I am back in that job. We're 2 weeks into rehearsal of the remount for To Kill a Mockingbird that I'm doing with Celia Keenan-Bolger, who played Scout. She won the Tony for it. So the two of us have come back, and a mix of a few of the original people, some new people, and some of the people from Ed Harris's cast, who was playing Atticus when the pandemic hit. So I'm very happy to come back. I'm going to be in it for 3 months until January 2nd, and especially with where the country is now. When I did it before for a year, it was before the election, before George Floyd, before all of that. I'm real interested to see the power of the play and what Bart Shear is doing with the little bit of restaging. Aaron Sorkin's done some little touch-ups on the script. It has the chance to be as powerful, if not more powerful, a production than before, simply because of the way that we're addressing white blindness, which is something that everybody in the country is now aware of.
Isn't it something to think about a novel that was written that long ago that is, from that perspective, as current as the second it was written, and that we're still living with?
Yeah, and even more so with after George Floyd's murder, it's white people are called on the carpet, and yes, this is a white point of view from the book and from Aaron Sorkin and from me. It's a white point of view, and we're doing the show predominantly for a white audience every night on Broadway, pretty much, and they're the ones who need to hear it. Some of them were preaching to the choir, but there are others that are confronting the fact that maybe they weren't aware. Maybe they should read some Isabel Wilkerson and Carol Anderson and Ta-Nehisi Coates. Maybe they should get caught up with what's really went on in America, and maybe this new America that we're all headed towards maybe I have to stand up just like Atticus Finch does in Aaron's play of the book. Maybe I need to stand up and be counted as someone who wants to right the original sin, which is, right or wrong that's been going on for 400 years.
Well, that sounds like a benediction to me. This has been a session of the Atlantic Festival. Jeff Daniels, Dan Futterman. I got some goosebumps at the end there, pal. Really good to see you both. And there's so much more that can be seen in the Atlantic Festival. I'm Harry Smith from NBC News, and we thank you for joining us.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate
it. Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
And we're back with, it says, one of our favorite segments. I don't know, Steals and Deals is still my favorite, but Mr. Smith Goes To. That's hard. Is my second favorite on the show.
Good one. All right, right? So this morning, this is going to be good. Harry is taking us to Tacoma, Washington, to introduce us to a family on a mission to educate as many people as possible about these untold stories of some African Americans.
So we're in Tulsa earlier this summer, reporting on the race massacre of 100 years ago. We're in a little community center there, and off in a little corner is just this tiny room with a couple of pieces in it, right? And kind of looking in, and here comes Bernard Kinsey. And he's just this bigger-than-life person, says, let me show you what we got here, right? And he says, but this is a tiny little sample. The real thing, if you want to see it, come to Tacoma later this summer. So we did.
Wow.
Tacoma, Washington has a beautiful art museum. The couple in this picture, it's their name on the giant sign outside.
To whom much is given, much is required in a life of no regrets, and that's what we try to live every day.
Bernard and Shirley Kinsey are here to share their life's passion, a breathtaking collection of art and historic memorabilia.
Because people always want to know, where do you find these things? And I had to stop and think yesterday. I said, well, you know, I don't even remember how we found it. It literally found us.
What you will find inside is beautiful, evocative, rich, and revelatory. Like this signature painting by Ava Casey, a woman unshackled. On her dress, tiny inscriptions of African-American inventions.
Airplane safety device, blood plasma preserve, seed planters, corn harvesters, phone transmitters, shoemaker cabinet, just everything on here.
Right.
And then you see those, her bracelets are like shackles.
Yeah.
And now.
Yeah, and look at the story. We did not come to America because it was a better place. We came and made it a better place.
In the mural that is America's story, there are crucial sections that are blank. Between the broad brushstrokes, what's missing are details. Details that make it richer, more defined, more truthful, like the service of black soldiers in World War I.
We had 400,000 black men go off to Europe, but they could only dig ditches and bury the dead. The French government asked General Pershing to allow the black troops to fight in French uniform and French guns, French tanks, and the 369th Harlem Hellfighters out of Harlem took on the task. And they fought for 192 days and was the first regiment to reach the Rhine River.
Black history, says Bernard, is American history.
41st and 42nd Congress, 1870, black senator and congressman in the South, elected because black people could vote. In other words, in 1867, we voted. If you vote, you get this, okay? That's just that simple.
History and art that's transparent, transformative.
And this particular piece reminds me of home. I grew up on a little dirt road, in a 2-bedroom house with tin roof.
The piece by artist Huey Lee Smith.
So when I saw this, a number of years ago now, I looked at that and I said, you know, that's me. That's me jumping rope on the foundation of the house I grew up in. Didn't know where I was going, but I was going somewhere.
Somewhere was historically black Florida A&M University, where she met Bernard. Two things about Shirley caught his attention.
She's always the prettiest lady in the room. And she had such courage to get arrested during the civil rights period at Florida A&M.
And while the art collection came later, it's been funded in part. Well, listen to this.
You know, we agreed that when we moved to California from Tallahassee, that we would save her check and live on my check. And for the first 15 years, we didn't spend a paycheck.
And my friends say, oh, Shirley, that's your money you'll spend now.
The collection, or parts of it, have been displayed from Epcot to Hong Kong and seen by millions.
3 things. I hope they walk away being inspired, motivated, and a little bit more educated. I hope they have something inside, one of those, I think it was Oprah who used to call them aha moments. Like, oh, this is why that happened. This is why this is going on. This is what we can do about it.
Walk through the collection, and you can almost hear the words of poet Maya Angelou.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise.
Coming to the Kinsey collection, your brain is going to be doing like this.
No question, you will get schooled by what you see here, but in a good way.
We are fully American.
The Kinsey's son, Khalil, is curator of the collection.
That's my wish, is that this is enriching, you know, and that people come and that they get something from it, whether it's big or small, but that they, again, leave expanded and enjoy the time.
We certainly did.
So if you were in the Pacific Northwest, you must go.
We learned something I did just from this piece.
Right? Yeah, and honestly, we're in there for hours. We're in there all day.
Right.
It gives me goosebumps to think about just how it's edifying. I mean, you get in there and there's so much beautiful to see and there's so much to learn in such a good way.
And you were saying that's just a piece of the collection.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got a lot.
I love that you're just. You're
And oh, by the way, they started with $78 in their pockets when they moved to Los Angeles.
Where is that again?
It's in Tacoma, Washington. There's a big art museum there.
Oh my goodness, Harry, thank you. So here's the deal. Before we let you go, we know that you celebrated a big milestone over the weekend.
That's right.
So we have a little something for you.
Here you go,
you're
buddy.
Amazing. Yay! Happy birthday!
Wait a minute. What is that there? Can I...
Don't smell it.
70.
Yeah, don't smell it.
That can't be right. Turn it around, it'll say 7.
Oh,
There it is.
There you go, buddy.
70 years old.
You are the skipper to my Gilligan, my friend. Everybody, great to be back with you for a brand new Popstar Plus when we're gearing up for that final episode of Stranger Things with an interview with one of the show's stars. And we had the great pleasure of having Steve Carell in the studio. That was just this morning, Studio 1A. We're going to share that conversation with you. And later, we've queued up a fun 90s throwback with Kathy Bates to celebrate her birthday today. All that is coming up at first, today's Popstar headlines. Chris Martin's first up on Popstar today. From the world's biggest stages to a tiny barroom stage, the Coldplay frontman is proving that he can do it all. He recently surprised a lucky couple when he was visiting the Stag Inn. We'll give him the credit. It's a bar over in the UK. After a quick chat with them about their wedding, Chris just decided to give him a little private performance. Take a look.
What's your name again?
Hannah.
And?
Jeremy.
You're getting married in a minute.
28th of August.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
but he's doing the food.
Figurative minute.
And that's
Alfie's piano. Cause you're a sky, oh you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart.
People walking by the bar like, yeah, the guy thinks he's Chris Martin. What's going on in there? Of course, if like any good bar, what do? You tweet that video out, and now people stop in there hoping to see this moment. Chris visiting them. They wrote he's a lovely guy. He ordered a Guinness. There you go. He's the perfect man. All right, next up, Hocus Pocus 2. Kevin Ford and Chris Martin, like the same people. Disney just dropped the first teaser trailer for the highly anticipated sequel. It's been almost 3 decades since the Halloween cult classic debuted, and all 3 of the original Sanderson sisters have returned for the next chapter. It's Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. They are back to terrorize Salem, get their revenge, and maybe put on one more memorable concert.
Maiden, Mother, and Crone 2. We call on thee with one request. Help our intentions manifest.
Lock up your children! Yes, Salem, we're back!
Hey, it's the Sanderson sisters. I bet you're looking for the stage.
Always. I don't know if I ever saw the first one, but that reminded me of Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board.
Oh, yeah.
Light as a Feather. Did you
So
ever do
scary.
that?
My mom said never play that at a
But
sleepover.
you did, didn't you? What is it?
Maybe once or twice. You don't know Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board?
No. You ever have a sleepover?
It was
You
like the
try and
sleepover.
levitate a friend of
Yes.
yours.
Really?
Yeah, using
Yeah.
powers.
That and the
Hocus
Ouija
Pocus
board.
2.
Another
That was
thing, never do the Ouija board.
That's right. Until Mattel came out with a game of it, I think. September 30th, Disney Plus, you can see Hocus Pocus 2. Bruce Willis is up next. The actor headed to the big screen in a new action flick called The Wrong Place. Back in March, Willis announcing his plans to step away from acting after being diagnosed with aphasia, a condition that affects a person's ability to communicate. In his latest role, he plays the guy that we love, a former cop on a mission to rescue his daughter. Here's a peek. Call your dad.
Chloe, are you okay?
I'm just at the cabin, and I wanted to make sure that you're still coming. Why do you need to get to my dad?
Fix what's broke. You made a crucial mistake. I'm gonna do what I do best.
Nothing personal, pal. He's just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
See, and I'm going to watch that movie. That's what I do.
Yeah, of course.
Wrong Goddess. That's going to be in theaters on demand, also on July 15th. Next up, America's Got Talent in a preview for tonight's audition round. 23-year-old opera singer Marissa Meadows wowed the judges with her ability to hit high notes. Not only that, but also doing some impressions of some pretty famous voices. So what she did is she gave Heidi Klum like a die. It had different names of singers on and asked her to call for various impressions while she was singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Wow. Stevie Nicks. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Celine Dion. Where troubles met, walk lemon drops, way above the chimney tops. And that's where you'll find me. Okay. Siri? Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then oh why can't I?
Oh, that's perfect.
This is funny, too.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Right? I think it's not a golden buzzer.
Yeah,
Right.
golden buzzer time.
We're going to find out what happens tonight. Watch NBC and you can see how it all went. And here's a few more headlines for you, including the movie Barbie that everybody cannot wait to see. We got a little sneak peek for you of the cast. I mean, look at some of these names. Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Kate McKinnon, and Will Ferrell. Some new photos from the set revealing a first look at the superstars and their characters. They snapped them yesterday in Los Angeles. Robbie and Gosling rocking some very bright colors as their characters, Barbie and Ken. In head-to-toe neon, the actors were caught skating along Venice Beach and having a good laugh. Wearing a more muted shade of Barbie pink was actor Will Ferrell, who donned some skates of his own, and according to The Hollywood Reporter, Will is set to play the CEO of a toy company in the movie, but we're gonna have to wait a little while for this one to see it. Barbie slated to be released next summer. And finally, Taylor Lautner. We've seen him land crazy stunts on the big screen in movies like Twilight and Grown Ups 2. Well, it turns out that Taylor doesn't need a stunt double. In a new video, the actor's showing off some serious action moves straight from a wedding reception on the dance floor. Check that out.
With all the force of a great typhoon, with all the strength of a raging fire, mysterious as the dark side of the moon. Time is racing.
These guys are into it, man. That's a heck of a wedding. Talk about a dynamic duo. Well, unfortunately for Taylor Lautner, that suit wasn't made for extreme dancing at weddings, and he did rip his pants. Everybody had a good laugh at it, but it looked like it was worth it. And there you have it, your Popstar Plus headlines still to come. That's why I don't go to weddings anymore. Brett Gelman's going to speak to us about working with Winona Ryder and, of course, all the young stars of Stranger Things.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
And welcome back with the final episodes of the hit show Stranger Things, set to be released on Friday. We thought we'd catch up with one of the show's stars. Brett Gelman returns as Murray and spoke to us about working with the cast on this, the final chapter.
I think Murray has very much evolved this season. He found his people more. He's a slightly less isolated, slightly less jaded person than he was in season 3 because he sort of learned what it meant to have friends. So you see that development a little bit, but he's still a bit of a grouch and a grump. Yeah, a misanthrope, as they say. We love a good critic who calls things out how they are, calls it like it is. So, and I think that that's very much a lot of what Murray's role is in this show.
It's time.
It is the darkest season. And, I mean, the approach to Murray, I mean, as I play him, I get to know him more and more. So it goes deeper and deeper. But I mean, things are always bad. My favorite part about playing Murray is that I get to be sort of the urban character amongst all these rural characters. And then he sort of brings a city vibe to it.
Я-то может лиси. А вот наручники на тебе сволочь советская. Hi, Jim.
That I get to be one of the, a character of somewhat comedic relief in this action, thriller, horror series, which is a kind of character that I grew up wanting to play, and just, getting to be in these amazing action sequences and the intensity of it, while still getting to really delve into who he really is and the humor of it is just the best. Getting to be in the Duffer Brothers world that they created as this character.
What? Do me a favor and move your lover's quarrel elsewhere, okay? This, not a lover's quarrel, pal. Spare me!
What is your problem?
Please, stop talking!
No!
I can't tell you much about what Murray and Joyce are up to in it, but working with Winona is it's a childhood dream. She's one of the greatest actresses and movie stars of all time, and it's amazing to me that I can call Winona Ryder a friend of mine. That's just it's one of those just bizarre things of pinching myself that this is my life. And we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun when we work together. She is one of the kindest people and so funny. And so getting to be working with her on this almost every day that I worked on this show was just an amazing treat.
Scoops Troop, this is, Bald Eagle.
I've reached another junction.
This is what?
The fourth junction.
All right, so if memory serves, this is right after the My Little Pony thesis.
We went left, so he has to go right.
Fly right, Bald Eagle.
Fly right.
Roger that, flying right. Little
Seeing the teens' growth has been amazing. They're really just a great bunch of people. Really just so incredibly talented and nice and professional and fun to be around. So to see that they haven't become disaster people, it's nice to see that has not happened and that they've all stayed grounded. It's amazing. I'm really grateful that the Duffer Brothers wrote me more stuff in the show, and that they made Murray's characters, Murray's involvement in the show grow. And it's insane. You forget it, because when you're working on the show, it just feels like family, that we're just all, cast and crew. It's we're here to do a job and get it done and have a good time together. When you step away and you are reminded just how massive the show is. I am the most excited for people to see me, just do amazing acting in this season. It's really remarkable, and I think that people will really, really enjoy my performance in a way that they haven't ever before. So that's very exciting to me. I'm really excited to. I just really, this season, I think it's the best season, and I think the other 3 seasons have been amazing. But I think this is everything, like the up to the millionth degree. It is scarier, more action-packed, and funnier than previous seasons. And there is such an amazing balance of all of that. I mean, it's just like, it's really awesome.
Thanks to Brett for hanging out with us. And again, Volume 2 of Stranger Things, Season 4 drops on Friday. All right, coming up, Steve Carell, a.k.a. Gru himself, fills us in on the latest word from the world of Minions.
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCNews.com/planyourvote today.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. These are families trying to board those trains to Poland.
I also want to get home.
You'll get home.
Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
And welcome back to Popstar Plus. Steve Carell's back as the voice of the villainous Gru in the new Minions movie, The Rise of Gru, and he stopped by Studio 1A to tell us all about it.
Well, we are back, and check it out. Our plaza has been taken over. We've been minionized, and we love it. But what are they without the big boss himself, Gru? And we are joined now by Steve Carell, who returns as the supervillain in Minions: The Rise of Gru. But this time, Gru is 11 3/4 years old and just meeting our yellow friends for the very first time. Take a look.
When you guys tracked me down and responded to my help wanted ad, I was like, who are these tiny tater tots? And where did they get so much denim?
Steve Carell, good morning.
Good morning.
We meet again.
I know.
Can you believe that this has had such staying power? It started with Despicable 1, then 2, then the Minions movie. This is, I think, is this the 5th in the franchise?
Yes.
Would you have ever thought this would be the one?
Not until I saw the first one.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it takes like a year and a half, 2 years to do the voice and, you know, all the animation. They animate to the voice. And I thought it's a good script. It's really fun. I love the people involved. But then when you see the final product and what the animators and directors, producers do to it, incredible.
When they first were like, we're gonna have these little yellow guys that wear denim overalls. They've like, some of them have one eye. They speak a language no one can understand, but everybody kind of understands. Were you like, oh, that's gonna be a hit?
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, well, good luck. Good luck with those minions. That's an ace idea. And yeah, they were geniuses.
Is it the Minions that is the secret to this success, or let's be honest, is it Gru?
It's Gru.
Yes.
It's mostly Gru, I think. No, the Minions, and they've been described as Twinkies or tater tots, little pills. You know, it's sort of incomprehensible to me that it became what it became. But people love them, and I think it's because they're equal parts obnoxious and endearing.
They are, and mischievous. I mean, I love them. That's the funny thing about it. It's like grown-ups like these movies too. You were telling me even your kids who are now young adults wanted to come to the premiere.
Oh yeah, they were so excited. And my son, after the premiere, pulled me aside and said, "Dad, seriously, all kidding aside about this, in a kid's movie," he's like, "It was really good." And I love it because he's an aspiring film student. He's like, "I love the shots, I love the composition, all of the editing, the timing." Like, he really was into the movie as a movie, and it was fun to see. The first one came out when he was like 4 or 5, and now he's 18, and so he has an appreciation in a different way.
That's high praise, especially from a teenager.
Yeah.
Like, just to say anything nice about anything a parent is involved in.
Yeah.
Like, good on you. So let's talk. This is Gru's origin story.
Yeah.
I love that it takes place in the 70s because that's just a magical template for them to work on. The outfits, the cost, the music, all of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the music. I mean, it's all a big part of what the nostalgia of it. I think is what's going to appeal to the adults. There is one joke in it about the length of time it takes to dial a rotary phone.
Yes.
That's maybe one of my favorite parts of the movie.
It's incredible. Gru is 11 3/4 years old, which made me think about you in the 70s at 11 3/4 years old.
Yeah.
What kind of kid were you?
Well, I was really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, no nerdy, anything?
No. I had it all dialed in.
Were you a bully kind of too?
No.
Just kidding.
No, I had long hair.
Yeah.
And we called them flares.
Oh, like bell bottoms?
They were
kinda?
bell bottoms, yeah. I had like purple striped ones. So I was kind of rocking the look. Remember Fry boots?
Yeah,
I used to wear Fry boots.
Oh, yeah. And were you like a ladies' man? Did the other fifth graders just like you?
Clearly. And still am.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know. Other than you've been married for like 50 years. How many years have you been married?
We've been married 50 years.
I know, which is odd because you're 60.
27.
I know. Oh, 27 years. I know. Your beautiful wife, your kids. I was thinking about, though, like, you really got big. You were in your late 30s, almost 40. And I was just thinking about, that's a long time to be trying to make it big, to be a journeyman in this business.
Well, I wasn't really trying to make it big. Journeyman was great for me.
Yeah.
I was happy making a living. That was the aspiration, just to make a living at acting, and the rest of it was just sort of gravy, really.
What's the best job you ever had? We just had Kevin Ford on. He didn't miss a shift in 27 years, which is so sweet. What's of all your jobs that you've had?
The worst one pops to mind.
Oh, what?
I worked in the produce department of a supermarket.
Oh.
And I had to wrap fruit in cellophane. I don't know why they did it at that point. To keep it fresh, I guess?
It was the 70s.
Yeah. Exactly.
You were 11 3/4.
Yeah, that was a tricky time.
Yeah, and the boxes get all soggy there in the produce department. I know.
And I was terrible at it. At one point, I was stocking popcorn on the shelves, and I accidentally poked a hole in the bag. So I took one of the labelers to put the price tags on, and I sealed up the hole with like 18 prices. And then my manager said, "What's this?" And he peeled it off and popcorn over the floor.
Clean up aisle 5.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you. The movie is a delight. And it's because of you, Gru. It's your origin story. It's all about Gru.
You're just saying that.
No, I'm not. I love you, Gru. And I love the Minions. It's from our parent company, NBC Universal and Illumination. But we'd be saying this no matter what, because it's a fabulous movie and the kids will love it. Thank you.
Thanks.
A Day Made Better by the great Steve Carell, and having the Minions here. So much fun. Be sure and check out Minions, The Rise of Gru. From our parent company, NBC Universal and Illumination. That hits theaters on Friday. Coming up, a 90s throwback with Oscar winner, honoring her birthday, the great Kathy Bates.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? Hey, Miss Lester, hey, who's this?
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Welcome back. The talented Kathy Bates, who turns 73 years young today, has played so many terrific roles in her career. And in her honor, we're taking a look back here to 1998 when she spoke with us about her characters in Titanic and Primary Colors.
So this has been a great time for you,
It's
hasn't it?
been a great year.
Well, first of
really
all, we
has.
should probably
Well,
introduce
this is Griffin. This is Griffin. I brought him with me. He's my sweetheart. He's my boy. So
yeah,
thanks for letting me bring him.
You
on the
rescued
show.
him a
Yeah,
couple years ago.
A couple
is that
years
right?
ago,
he's,
we rescued
He's very fascinated by our interview. You're not allowed to yawn, Griffin.
So, and I brought him to New York for the first time. He's more of an LA dog, so he's still getting used to the trucks and the traffic and the people and everything.
And you
so.
get to follow him around with a plastic bag.
That's right.
Lucky you.
A little pink plastic bag on your hand.
Oh boy! All right. Well, let's get back to the movies, shall we?
Yeah.
Tell me about how excited you were with the Titanic's incredible sweep of the Oscars.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, so many people worked on the film. It was just an amazing experience. I think the most incredible experience was working in the dining room, going and being in that scene there and sitting down at your place, and you'd see a plate that was an exact replica of what they brought up from the debris field, and the silver had all the White Star insignias stamped on it. It
Even
was
the
just
cards
amazing.
that had the menus.
Amazing.
I mean, it was just all so meticulously done, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Did that make it eerie in a way?
It was eerie. Ken Marshall, who did the illustrated history of the Titanic, came and he was there the day we shot the dining room scene, and he just stood there with his mouth open and he said, it'll never be done like this again. It was as though he stepped into one of his own paintings.
Yeah. Were you surprised that Titanic did so well at the Oscars?
No, I think everybody expected it. You go and meet kids who've seen it like 8, 10, 11 times. And I get so many young kids, coming up to me for autographs, but I realize it's not for me. It's because I was on the boat with Leo. I mean, let's face it, their eyes just glaze over.
That is so amazing. I guess he's this generation's Davy Jones or whatever, whoever was my David Cassidy, I'm not sure. But it's crazy, isn't it? Isn't it a bit insane?
It is insane. He's such a talented. I fell in love with him when he did Gilbert Grape.
What's Eating Gilbert? Was he not magnificent in that
Phenomenal.
role? And I thought, wow,
I
this
did
guy
too.
is so gifted.
He's amazing. He's amazing. He's a real phenom. He's a chameleon.
Yeah.
And lovely to work with.
Really sweet, isn't he?
Yeah.
Before we talk about Primary Colors,
Yes.
which I think is one of the main reasons we're here, I have to ask you about Molly Brown. How did it happen? You play, of course, the unsinkable Molly Brown in
Mhm.
Titanic. How did it happen, Kathy, that she just happened to have a dinner suit that fit Jack perfectly? That required a little more suspension of disbelief than I was capable of.
I know, it's true. Well, we figured out that maybe, she was shopping in Europe and
It was
for
for her
son,
son.
right? She was bringing it back
I
for
was
her
like,
son.
sure.
It's like,
Why did you
well.
say change that, huh? Did you think that
Well,
was a little far-fetched?
It was a little far-fetched, but it's the movies. So.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I shouldn't take it so seriously. Well, let's talk about Primary Colors, because I confessed to you during the commercial that I haven't seen it yet. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. But from what I hear, you steal the show.
Well, it's a great part. It's a plum part. I play Libby Holden, who's one of his political operatives, and from the moment I read it, I knew it was a terrific part. It's
Why?
It's the best part I think I've had to come down the pike in a long time.
Better than Misery, or?
Well, it's as good as,
Yeah.
I think.
What makes it
certainly.
so good?
Well, because you get to do the whole thing. It's the whole arc. She's crazy, she's funny, she's but she's also
She's
profound,
outrageous,
and
isn't
she's
she?
outrageous, but she's also got a lot of depth, and she's you got the pathos as well as the comedy, and it's everything. It's the whole ball of wax, and to work with somebody like Mike Nichols, who you know, has great taste and smart, and Elaine
He is so
Mason-
smart, huh?
He's just amazing.
And not to mention John Travolta, and Emma Thompson, who I adore.
Yeah,
Talk
she's
about
great.
smart.
I know,
mean,
she's so supportive too. When we had our first rehearsal, we were sitting next to each other, and there's like a big long aria at the end that Libby has, and after I did it, she kind of reached over and grabbed my hand and was real supportive and friendly, and it's just great working with everybody. I think the film also has some more profound things to say about the political process. It's not just about a Clinton-esque family. I think it has to do with how we do elect our leaders and how we feel about that whole electoral process and what someone has to give up in order to become elected. you
Right,
know.
which is certainly very much in the public discourse these
Yeah,
days.
it is.
Well, Kathy Bates, I'm really happy for all your success. Congratulations
Thanks.
on everything.
Thanks,
Great to
Katie.
see you.
He's
Griffin
gone for
was
his nap.
fascinated by everything we had to say. Anyway, good to see you.
Thank you.
Very cool. And of course, we are wishing a very happy birthday to Kathy Bates. And there you have today's Pop Star Plus, everybody. Thanks for being here. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Until then, make it a great one. Today, all day. See you soon, folks.
Well, hello, friends, in Today All Day land. Welcome to the little digital show we call Today in 30.
Oh, yes, our half-hour wrap-up of everything from our show this morning. We are, of course, going to be starting with the latest overnight from that devastating scene in San Antonio, Texas. The bodies of at least 46 migrants found inside an abandoned truck. We'll have a full report straight ahead on that.
All right, and then we're going to take you to a man who's getting a lot of attention right now. Thousands rallying around and celebrating a fast food employee who has not missed a single shift in nearly 3 decades. But he did this morning, but it was authorized when he joined us right here in our studio. Wait till you see the touching reunion he shared with his loved ones right here.
And then Steve Carell stopped by the plaza. He talked about going back in time from Minions, the rise of Gru, and he brought along a few of his little yellow friends.
He did, and if you plan to travel over the 4th or really anytime this summer, we've got some clever ideas to keep your kids busy on your next road trip or flight. So let's get this show on the road. Time for
Today in 30.
Savannah officials are calling this one of the worst mass casualty incidents in this area in recent history. And this remote road is where this massive investigation is now playing out. That semi-truck where those individuals were found, about 100 yards behind me. And that is where this grim discovery was made late yesterday. 46 bodies inside that trailer, some, Savannah, hot to the touch. And this morning we know there are 16 others fighting to survive in area hospitals, including 4 children.
A sweltering summer day in Texas, with temperatures topping 100 degrees, contributing to one of the country's deadliest human smuggling cases in recent history.
Quite a few of them are already deceased.
The tragedy unfolding Monday in a rural part of San Antonio. 46 people found dead in the back of this stifling truck. The first calls coming in just before 6 p.m.
The truck driver is running southbound on foot along the railroad tracks.
Police say a local worker made the terrible discovery after hearing cries for help. Authorities found the abandoned semi-truck with its doors partially opened.
We're not supposed to open up a truck and see stacks of bodies in there.
Officials say the likely cause of death, heat stroke. Incredibly, 16 others survived, including several children, but they were in an extremely weakened state when they were taken to area hospitals.
The patients that we saw were hot to the touch. They were suffering from heat stroke, heat exhaustion, no signs of water in the vehicle. It was a refrigerated tractor trailer, but there was no visible working AC unit on that rig.
This horrific scene echoing a similar tragedy in San Antonio, where 10 people died crammed inside a tractor trailer back in 2017. This year has already seen record numbers of border encounters in the Southwest, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Texas Governor Greg Abbott tweeting, quote, "These deaths are on Biden. They are a result of his deadly open border policies." San Antonio's mayor with a different perspective.
There are, that we know of, 46 individuals who are no longer with us, who had families, who were likely trying to find a better life.
And this morning, while the White House has yet to make an official statement, they have referred to the statement made by DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, who placed the blame for this squarely on top of these smugglers and said a federal investigation is ongoing. Savannah?
And Morgan, has there been any word on potential suspects?
We have heard from authorities who say they have 3 individuals in custody, but at this time they are not saying whether or not they are directly tied to this smuggling plot. In the meantime, this crime scene remains absolutely expansive across this remote area. We're told that they're going to have canine units out here today, making sure that absolutely everyone who was on board or near that truck, Savannah, has been accounted for.
Morgan Chesky at that scene for us. Thank you, Morgan.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this? Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
We're back. We have a Today exclusive for you. A man who's gone viral for all the right reasons. His dedication to his job.
His name is Kevin Ford. He says he has not missed a day of work in 27 years. Just think about that. Nearly 3 decades. In the midst of the Great Resignation, that story is truly extraordinary. So we're going to talk to Kevin right here in a moment. But first, a little bit more on his journey.
I just really want to tell everybody out there how thankful I am for
Kevin Ford expressing his gratitude online after an unexpected outpouring of generous Americans. It all began last week when a video of him receiving a gift bag for his service went viral.
a movie ticket. Thank you very much. And I also got a bag of Reese's.
The video has been viewed now more than 2 million times on social media. The 54-year-old has worked at the Las Vegas International Airport under HMS Host, a food service company for restaurants like Burger King and Cinnabon, for nearly 3 decades. Ford says in all those years, he has never missed a scheduled shift, not one.
This is very nice. From Starbucks, thank you guys.
In the video originally posted on Ford's Instagram account, he goes through each item, which includes a tumbler, candy, pens, and a movie ticket. Ford says in the video he is grateful for it all, but social media called for more. One Instagram user writing, after 27 years of working, that's all he got? Another person commenting, Kevin, you are a treasure and a special person. We reached out to HMS Host for a response, and the company said, quote, this recognition of Mr. Ford by another employee captures the essence of our culture of appreciation, caring, and inclusion, and reflects the best of our company, our people. Mr. Ford is a valued associate and member of an honored group of employees that have worked for us for many years. The company also told Today Ford got that gift because he is an exemplary employee. One of Ford's daughters, Serena, created a GoFundMe account for him. On it, she describes how her single dad worked hard to support her and her siblings. She writes, in no way are we asking for money or is he expecting any money, but if anyone feels like blessing him, he would love to visit his grandchildren. Less than a week later, more than $170,000 was raised, even a $5,000 donation from actor David Spade. Ford, blown away by the attention, posted a thank you video.
I love y'all. I gotta get out of here before I start crying. Just really means so much to me.
Oh, and here he is, all the way from Las Vegas, missing a day of work for the first time. Kevin, good morning. It's good to have you here.
Very good to be here.
What does it feel like to be in this moment?
It's like a dream, a dream come true that, nobody could even think of this, you know. So it's just overwhelming, especially all the support I'm receiving every day. So it's just awesome.
Kevin, I think a lot of folks, they were just astonished when they heard that you had not missed a shift in 27 years. How do you show up every day for nearly 3 decades?
I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe I'm a robot. I don't know how I did it. It's just something, you just work and you got to feed these kids and put them through school. So I just never even thought of missing a day. So.
Let's clear one thing up, because one of the reasons this got so much notice is because a coworker gave you a present for 27 years, and then the internet said, "Is that it?" But you were happy with the present that you got. You weren't looking for recognition or anything more.
No. The manager brought me some a present, and they said, "This is, for your 27th year anniversary," and I loved it. I just, and then I said, let's do a little shout-out video for it and stuff, and I was just grateful to have it. I'm still grateful. I got that cup in my room, so.
And then the internet got involved, and the outpouring came.
Kevin, why do you think your story, it resonated with so many people? Why do you think there were so many people that saw this video and they said, you know what, I want to message that guy, or I want to give to this GoFundMe campaign?
I think it's just have to do with the fact that people love to see somebody grateful for something and happy for the little things, which I am. I've been through a lot. Everybody's been through a lot. So I look toward the smaller things in life, and, I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for every day I wake up that I could go to work, that I could be a good citizen, be a good American, and just, do my part. So I'm just grateful for everything I get.
You're a great example for the world, but also for your kids and grandkids who, by the way, are here. One of the reasons why that your daughter thought they could get a couple dollars coming in was for a reunion, and so you knew they were coming, but this is the first time you've seen them in years. Hi, we've got your daughter Serena and your granddaughter Charlotte and Clairlyn and your grandson Javon.
Hey, Javon. Seen you guys in so long. Hey.
Serena.
Oh, wow.
Serena. Nice to meet you.
Hi, guys. Come on in here. Let's gather around. Here, sit down, Kevin, and we get all the kids around you. Here's your daughter.
You want to sit, buddy? You can sit. Sit. Absolutely.
Oh, Kevin.
4 years it's been, right?
Yeah,
long time. Come on,
I
guys.
haven't touched my grandchildren. Hey, baby girl.
I know. Look at these sweet faces.
Wow, Charlie.
Serena, what does this moment mean?
It's a lot to take in, honestly.
Oh, wow.
Means a lot. Sorry, Dorothy. Sorry.
I love it.
It means a lot to us. I mean, it's been a lot.
Serena, you were the one that started the GoFundMe page, and at last check, it was at about $170,000, and it'll probably go even higher after this.
Yeah.
Why did you think, you know what, my dad deserves more than just this recognition?
My dad deserves the world.
Yeah.
To me, in my opinion, my dad gave me the world. My dad made me the person that I am. So I love my dad more than I can ever put into words, and I didn't have high expectations when I posted it. Honestly, I mean, the original goal was $200. So
a plane ticket.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I didn't know, but it definitely exceeded expectations.
Are you guys proud of your grandpa? Javon, what lesson do you learn from him and his example?
Don't be greedy.
Yeah.
Don't be greedy.
Yeah, be grateful for what you have. Kevin, I know you were overwhelmed before we brought in these adorable grandkids of yours.
Yeah, I just can't believe this. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I just want to tell everybody out there, thank you for every cent, even just the thought of watching the video or just having a reason to smile. I want to thank everybody. There's been donations from Australia and UK, all around the world. I just want to say thank you to everybody. It's just a dream come true. It's just a whirlwind of love, and that's all I want everybody just to know. Spread the love because we need it. Every day we need it.
Yes, we do.
Thank you for letting us bask in that love for a little moment and share this moment with you, and I hope you guys could go spend some time and have a good day in New York and have some fun.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Serena. Great job. Kevin, great to meet you. Kids?
Thanks for the lessons.
You did
Kevin.
awesome.
Thanks for the lessons.
You look very comfortable in this seat. You could do this job, you know?
I'm pretty comfortable.
We need to give these athletes the support that they deserve and they need. So I can't wait for the future because there are kids out there that aren't afraid to dream. And they aren't afraid to dream as big as they possibly can. And I am so excited to see what their dreams and their passions lead them to. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Carson joining the party here. That, of course, our good friend Michael Phelps adding another milestone to his already legendary career.
That's right. He was inducted into the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Hall of Fame on Friday. And overnight, he did also post some pictures of the event with his beautiful family by his side. Phelps saying that he was humbled and honored, and he used his speech to talk a lot about mental health and the impact that it has on athletes, a cause, of course, that he's championed for years now. He's even shared quite a bit with us here on Today. He said it's now his biggest journey and called for more support for athletes.
He also thanked and dedicated the honor to his family for support along the way. And of course, we've been following in their footsteps, these little adorable Phelps kids. You might remember this moment from the Rio Olympics. Remember when his wife, Nicole, introduced us to Boomer?
Oh, yeah.
We were obsessed with Boomer.
Oh, yeah.
Roll that beautiful Boomer footage.
There you
look
go.
at this
There's
baby.
that beautiful baby.
I mean, just look at this kid.
Yeah. And another inductee, skiing legend, of course, Lindsey Vonn. She thanked her family, dedicating the award to her mother, who is currently fighting ALS. Vonn said her mom taught her so much about strength and character. Both those athletes, such a privilege to watch them compete. It was so much fun to watch.
By the way, what a Hall of Fame induction. They had Lindsey Vonn, Billie Jean King, Mia Hamm, Michelle Kwan, the figure skater.
By the way, can I just say, Boomer Phelps, already more athletic than me. There you go. By a long shot.
Even as an infant.
That's right.
What would you like to see from the federal government to keep Buffalo safe? If there is legislation brought to you to ban contraception, would you sign it? What should be focused on that could reduce inflation and avoid a recession? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCNews.com/planyourvote today.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, we are back, and check it out. Our plaza has been taken over. We've been minionized, and we love it. But what are they without the big boss himself, Gru? And we are joined now by Steve Carell, who returns as the supervillain in Minions: The Rise of Gru. But this time, Gru is 11 3/4 years old and just meeting our yellow friends for the very first time. Take a look.
When you guys tracked me down and responded to my help wanted ad, I was like, who are these tiny tater tots? And where did they get so much denim?
Steve Carell, good morning.
Good morning.
We meet again.
I know.
Can you believe that this has had such staying power? It started with Despicable 1, then 2, then the Minions movie. This is, I think, is this the 5th in the franchise?
Yes.
Would you have ever thought this would be the one?
Not until I saw the first one.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it takes like a year and a half, 2 years to do the voice and, you know, all the animation. They animate to the voice. And I thought it's a good script. It's really fun. I love the people involved. But then when you see the final product and what the animators and directors, producers do to it, incredible.
When they first were like, we're gonna have these little yellow guys that wear denim overalls. They've like, some of them have one eye. They speak a language no one can understand, but everybody kind of understands. Were you like, oh, that's gonna be a hit?
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, well, good luck. Good luck with those minions. That's an ace idea. And yeah, they were geniuses.
Is it the Minions that is the secret to the success, or let's be honest, is it Gru?
It's Gru.
Yes.
It's mostly Gru, I think. No, the Minions, and they've been described as Twinkies or tater tots, little pills. You know, it's sort of incomprehensible to me that it became what it became. But people love them, and I think it's because they're equal parts obnoxious and endearing.
They are, and mischievous. I mean, I love them. That's the funny thing about it. It's like grown-ups like these movies too. You were telling me even your kids, who are now young adults, wanted to come to the premiere.
Oh yeah, yeah, they were so excited. And my son, after the premiere, pulled me aside and said, "Dad, seriously, you know, all kidding aside about this, you know, in a kid's movie," he's like, it was really good. Like, and I love it because he's an aspiring film student. He's like, I love the shots, I love the composition, you know, all of the editing, the timing. Like, he really was into the movie as a movie. It was fun to see. The first one came out when he was like 4 or 5, and now he's 18, and so he has an appreciation in a different way.
That's high praise, especially from a teenager.
Yeah.
Like, to say anything nice about anything a parent is involved in.
Yeah.
Like, good on you. So let's talk. This is Gru's origin story.
Yeah.
I love that it takes place in the 70s because that's just a magical template for them to work on. The outfits, the cost, the music, all of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the music. I mean, it's all a big part of what the nostalgia of it. I think is what's going to appeal to the adults. There is one joke in it about the length of time it takes to dial a rotary phone.
Yes.
That's maybe one of my favorite parts of the movie.
It's incredible. Gru is 11 3/4 years old, which made me think about you in the 70s at 11 3/4 years old.
Yeah.
What kind of kid were you?
Well, I was really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, no nerdy, anything?
No. I had it all dialed in.
Were you a bully kind of too?
No.
Just kidding.
No, I had long hair.
Yeah.
And we called them flares.
Oh, like bell bottoms?
They were bell bottoms,
yeah.
I had like purple striped ones. So I was kind of rocking the look.
Were
Fry boots?
Yeah,
I
I
used
do.
to wear Fry boots.
Oh yeah, and were you like a ladies' man? Did the other
yeah.
5th graders just like you?
Clearly, and still am.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know. Other than you've been married for like 50 years. How many years have you been married?
Right. We've been married 50 years.
I know, which is odd because you're 60.
27.
I know. Oh, 27 years. I know. Your beautiful wife, your kids. I was thinking about though, like you really got big. You were in your late 30s, almost 40, and I was just thinking about that's a long time to be trying to make it big, to be a journeyman in this business.
Well, I wasn't really trying to make it big. I just a journeyman was great for me.
Yeah.
I was happy making a living. That was the aspiration, just to make a living at acting, and the rest of it was just sort of gravy, really.
What's the best job you ever had? We just had Kevin Ford on. He didn't miss a shift in 27 years, which is so sweet. What's of all your jobs that you've had?
The worst one pops to mind.
Oh, what?
I worked in the produce department of a supermarket.
Oh.
And I had to wrap fruit in cellophane. I don't know why they did it at that point. To keep it fresh, I guess?
It was the 70s.
Yeah. Exactly.
You were 11 3/4.
Yeah, that was a tricky time.
Yeah, and the boxes get all soggy there in the produce department. I know.
And I was terrible at it. At one point, I was stocking popcorn on the shelves, and I accidentally poked a hole in the bag. So I took one of the labelers to put the price tags on, and I sealed up the hole with like 18 prices. And then my manager said, "What's this?" And he peeled it off and popcorn over the floor.
Clean up aisle 5.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you. The movie is a delight. And it's because of you, Gru. It's your origin story. It's all about Gru.
You're just saying that.
No, I'm not. I love you, Gru. And I love the Minions. It's from our parent company, NBC Universal and Illumination. But we'd be saying this no matter what, because it's a fabulous movie and the kids will love it. Thank you.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate it.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
Okay, if you're a parent, you are driving as a parent who's traveling with kids this summer, the struggle is real. Between flight delays and jam-packed highways, patience can sometimes wear thin.
It's tough out there, so we asked for help from Megan Murphy, happens to be the queen of family road trips. She's here with her 2 boys, James and Brooks. Megan also is the editor-in-chief of Women's Day magazine and the author of Your Fully Charged Life. Good morning, Megan. Good to see you.
Oh my gosh, we're so happy that you're here. Okay, sometimes I'm not like a pro-electronic mom unless we're traveling.
Yes.
And then all rules go out the window.
See, my whole thing is to never hear the words, "Are we there yet?"
Yeah, unfortunately, we hear it a lot.
So I give them the devices. And these days, cars don't come with those infotainment systems, so I had to rig it. So what we do is we take the device, we put it in a plastic bag. I take a bungee cord and a couple of chip clips, and I create an independent movie center for each kid. Because A, they can never agree on a movie, and B, they need their own station. You can see totally clearly through the plastic. They connect their wireless headphones, and they've got their own
Wireless
movie
headphones?
center.
Yeah,
Oh, goodness, yeah, you gotta go. It's gotta be the Bluetooth. It's all about the Bluetooth.
I'm like, I need to step up my electronic.
I feel you. I got you. I will help you with that.
Our rule is the first hour you're driving, if you're going on a long road trip, and the last hour, there's no electronics because we want the kids to see where they're headed, okay?
I love that.
So what do we do when they're just hanging?
So we love to create a DIY, I call it a lap topper. I take a baking sheet, and you can see it here. And I put activities on it. So we use a pad of paper. This is one of my life hacks, triangle-shaped crayons, because they do not roll. Smart. So I'm not like, what crayon is under the seat?
Right.
So it's a great activity center. You can draw right on there. They're also
And you can
magnetic.
play tic-tac-toe.
I love that.
Wait, what are magnetic?
This is magnetic. So you'll see Brooks is playing with magnetic rocks.
Oh, cool.
So look at that. So they stack right on here.
Brooks, is that keeping you busy, buddy? You want that or your iPad? Tell the truth.
Yeah.
But you know what we'll also do? We'll put an art show on the iPad, and he will draw from the iPad a follow-along art show.
Oh, that's a good
That's
idea.
kind of a nice way to do it. I also also love this, guys. This is one of my favorite things, are kids' table topics. So they're questions for kids to get the conversation started. When we're in the car, we have the best conversations. It's stuff like, what would you do if you were invisible for a day?
Yes.
Their answers always floor me, are so funny, and it really gets the conversation started.
Yeah, bye. Have a good ride. I hope somebody's driving you safely.
Be careful
So
back
those
here.
are my table topics. It's endless
I love
questions.
table topics. These are
so
really
much fun. Okay, then food. I don't want any hangry kids. That they're the worst
Animal
passengers.
crackers.
So I make a snack station. I take a muffin tin, place it inside a handled container, so that
smart.
everything's contained. It keeps the mess in, and the little cubbies make it more fun for some reason.
Yes.
Everything is fun with
But
a
then
cubby.
they spill in
And
here.
it's all in here, self-contained.
Genius.
Oh, okay, so my boys are big crafters. They've been making bracelets. That's their summer business. So we took one and we filled it with all of these little snacks. James is picking it.
James, are you happy with that over there, buddy?
Yeah.
It keeps them very busy on the plane. It's so fun to pick out of the cubbies, right? So amazing. And then finally, we found the ultimate travel pillow. It's from Sunhead Pillow. And it has secret compartments. It unzips.
Wait,
and you
I
can
want
put their
one of those.
lovey in
Is that their
it.
lovey?
This is Brooksy's lovey. I
Brooks,
promise
what's
you,
your
we make
lovey's
sure we don't
name?
leave it on set.
What's that, brown tiger?
And I'll put lollies
Here's your
because
brown
sometimes
tiger,
for their
buddy.
ears,
Yeah.
snacks, their headphones, everything stashes inside of the headrest. These are great on the plane, in the car, on the beach.
So smart.
You can
Really
even put it on a
smart.
For an
tray
adult, right?
and put your face in it.
I love it. I think this is the best idea of them all, though, because look at this. All the snacks.
All the snacks. And pre-trip, have them fill it themselves, right, with a mix of different things.
James, how's your flight going, pal? You good? Yeah?
You
All right,
good?
cool.
Okay, where are you headed to? I hope it doesn't get delayed.
And we hope you come back tomorrow because Martha Stewart will be here with some great ideas for the 4th of July.
We will see you then. Bye-bye.
Oh, today all day, summer's officially here, so get outside, do something fun. Up next, Sama Dada is sharing the ultimate menu for a perfect picnic party in the park.
This is sort of like playing with Play-Doh, but it tastes good and it's edible. Play-Doh is not edible, I don't think. Play-Doh is edible? No. Why? There's no way. I just learned that Play-Doh is edible. Don't eat it though. That's disgusting. Just eat these instead. In the summer months especially, it's really nice to get outside and take advantage of your local parks. And listen, I am your dream picnic guest because I never come without the most important thing, food. So I'm gonna show you how to make 2 of my favorite recipes for your next #picnic party, my easy homemade turmeric hummus, and my favorite spiced chickpea burgers with a delicious red pepper sauce. Some may say it's sacrilegious to make hummus with canned chickpeas, but you know what? Convenience is a gorgeous thing, and you can still get a really delicious result with the canned chickpeas that have been sort of hibernating at the back of your pantry for quite some time. If you're freaked out at all by making hummus at home, just don't be, because you know what? All you need to make it is a blender. So let's start. Starting with my canned chickpeas, adding these straight to the blender. They're so cute. I'm gonna go ahead and add my tahini. You cannot have hummus without tahini. It is like peanut butter and jelly, you know what I mean? So don't forget it. You just simply can't have hummus without it. It makes it nice and earthy and creamy and flavorful. Okay. You've got those really savory flavors from that tahini, from the chickpeas, so now we need a little bit of tartness, and that's where our lemon juice comes in. Just gonna roll the lemon to release some of that juice. Lemon juice going straight in my blender. It's gonna make this hummus really bright and zingy. I will warn you, once you learn how to make this hummus at home, you may never go back to store-bought. I'm sorry, but I'm just not sorry. Perfect. Lemon is done. Now I'm gonna add in my garlic. I like using raw garlic here because it has a really punchy, flavorful taste, and we want all of that flavor in this hummus. Here's where we really spice it up, okay? We're gonna add my 3 favorite spices. I'm adding some cumin. Adding some paprika for a little hint of smoke and spice. And what would this turmeric hummus be without turmeric? It doesn't make sense. So I'm adding my turmeric in. Another reason I wanted to make a turmeric hummus is because of that gorgeous yellow color. So that's really gonna give that hummus that bright pop. It's gonna look really good on your table, I promise. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and some freshly ground black pepper. Now I'm just gonna blend. In order to get this hummus super smooth, we're gonna add a little bit of water, tablespoon by tablespoon, until it reaches our desired consistency. For me, that's very smooth and velvety and luxurious. Starting with just a bit. The trick with this hummus to get it super velvety smooth is when you reach your desired consistency, blend it for an extra 3 or 4 more times. That's gonna make it even more smooth. Like, look at that. Oh my God, I cannot wait. Let me just adjust to taste. See if it needs anything. I mean, come on. It's perfect. I'm gonna add the hummus into my bowl. Have you ever seen anything this smooth in your life? No, right? Okay. Now, let me show you how to adorn this hummus. I'm gonna smooth it out. I created a little swoosh so that the olive oil and spices have a little home. Drizzle some olive oil on top. Sprinkling with a little bit of za'atar. If you don't know what za'atar is, it's a Middle Eastern spice blend with sumac, sesame seeds, and another host of spices. It's so good. If you don't have za'atar, don't worry, you can totally omit it, but I think it tastes amazing with it. I'm gonna add a touch of paprika just for a little color. This works as a nice contrast to that bright yellow that the turmeric gives this hummus. I mean, look at how pretty that is, right? But we're not done yet. I have this gorgeous platter of fresh vegetables here, and I'm just gonna cut them and adorn them around my hummus. If you don't feel like slicing your veggies yourself, no worries. You can buy it pre-cut. I've got some time on my hands. I mean, this is art. Monet? Is that you? It's me. I think I made a masterpiece. I'm not trying to be conceited, but like, are we all looking at the same thing here? Doesn't this make you want to be one of my picnic guests? Maybe? So pretty. Need to take a picture. My phone really does eat first. I know that's cliche, but it's kind of true. Oh my God, I was immediately taken aback by how pretty this looked. I cracked myself up. I'm taking like 20,000 pictures. I think 12 would have been fine, but okay. I think I got the shot. Can confidently say I got the shot. I'm gearing up. Okay. This is the most both exciting and tragic part of making hummus, is that part where you ruin the art. But it's okay. This is what it's for. Okay, I'm going in. Did that make you all feel things? Because I just felt really emotional. Okay, ready to taste. It's so good. Something so flavorful paired with a simple, crisp vegetable, just like, these vegetables just gotta glow up. Thanks to this hummus, it's art. It's art. No picnic would be complete without a sandwich, so I'm gonna show you how to make my favorite chickpea burger with a red pepper sauce. I'm gonna go grab the ingredients.
Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark. How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? You telling us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. It was Lester. Who's
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
To turn your favorite hummus into my red pepper special sauce, first cut 2 peppers in half and de-seed them. Then roast the red peppers at 450 degrees for about 25 minutes. After removing the peppers from the oven, they'll need to be steamed for 10 to 15 minutes. You can do this by inverting a glass bowl over the peppers onto a cutting board. Sealing the peppers creates steam, making it easier for the skins to peel right off. Remove the pepper peels and discard. Yep, they're a little slippery. Roughly chop the red peppers into large pieces. Add 2 cups of your favorite hummus to a high-speed blender. Homemade or store-bought will do just fine. Now, drop in your roasted red peppers. Blend the mixture until it's well combined and super smooth. Now, this special sauce is ready to be spread on anything your heart desires.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
What would you like to see from the federal government to keep Buffalo safe? If there is legislation brought to you to ban contraception, would you sign it? What should be focused on that could reduce inflation and avoid a recession? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition. We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this? Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark. How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. My name is Lester. Who's this?
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Having a good veggie burger recipe in your back pocket is sort of like having your best friend on speed dial. It's pretty useful. And I don't know if people are really using speed dial anymore, but you get the point. My chickpea burgers are deliciously spiced, they're super hearty, and they're perfect for when you want something substantial that still happens to be plant-based. First things first, I want this burger to have a lot of complex layers of flavor, so I'm gonna saute some onion and garlic to put in it. Just gonna dice my red onion. I'm only using half here. I'm using a red onion here because I really like that it adds that nice sweetness. It's gonna be so good in this veggie burger. Also, aesthetically speaking, I know it's what's on the inside that counts, but aesthetically speaking, these red onions are really pretty. That purpley red, we love it. Red onions are diced. I'm now gonna mince my garlic. Great way to mince garlic. All you're gonna do is take your clove, use the flat edge of your knife, get some of your aggression out, and then start mincing. I'm gonna do this with all of the rest of my cloves. Garlic, it's our friend, okay? You may smell like garlic for 3 days after cooking with it, but it's worth it. It's worth the price you have to pay. We wanna extract all of that garlicky flavor. It's so good. And we're mincing it really finely so that we can get out all of that flavor, all of that aroma, all of that garlic perfume that will plague you for the next 3 days. All right. Now I'm gonna heat my pan and add some olive oil. My oil is shimmering, and now I'm gonna go ahead and add my onions. Got some resistant ones in here. Don't worry, you're gonna become a burger. Something to celebrate. All right. We want these onions to be tender, translucent, starting to brown around the edges. When we get a little bit of that caramelization, it's gonna impart so much flavor onto these burgers. And you might be wondering, why didn't we add the garlic with the onions? But we can't do that because the garlic takes a lot less time to cook, so if we added with the onions, it would burn. And that's not cute. My onions look perfect. They're nice and golden brown around the edges. They're tender, translucent, which means it's time for the garlic. Okay. Doesn't need too much time to become a little brown, about 2 minutes. Don't forget, and I'm reminding you here, to season with salt and pepper. Flavor is our friend. We always want more of it. Okay, this looks amazing. The garlic is nice and golden. It's got some color. I'm gonna set this aside to cool and then get to work on the base of my burger. For the base of this burger, I'm starting with some cashews. I know that sounds crazy, but cashews are buttery and delicious. They really allow this veggie burger to be hearty and meaty without any actual meat. So I'm gonna add that into my food processor. I'm using raw cashews here, unsalted, completely raw. This is important. All I'm going to do is process these cashews into a nice fine powder, kind of like a flour. Looks pretty good. All right, this looks perfect. Let me just show you the texture real quick. It's sort of like this nice flour, you can see. It's gonna be a really hearty base for this burger. Okay, cashews are done. Now we're gonna move on to the rest of my ingredients. Now I'm gonna add some flaxseed meal. This is gonna be really great as a binder for these burgers. It's sort of like a vegan replacement for an egg. Okay, looking cozy in there. And because I can't live my life without any spice, it just simply is not possible, I'm gonna add my spices. Starting with a little paprika. And just know, these spices aren't gonna make it spicy, right? It's gonna be flavorful, it's gonna add a lot of body and taste. That's what we like. A little bit of turmeric. Yum. Some cumin. And finally, some coriander. This is a chickpea burger, so we gotta add our chickpeas. These are just drained. And now we're gonna process. It's okay if this mixture isn't fully pulverized. It's kind of nice to have a little bit of that chickpea texture, so don't sweat it if you've got a little chickpea hanging out in there. Now I'm just gonna add some olive oil, and then remember my onions and garlic from earlier? These are going in there as well. A little olive oil. And then my onions and garlic. Perfect. Okay, you probably guessed this, but we're gonna process one more time. My mixture is looking amazing. Gonna transfer it to a bowl. Just transferred my patty mixture into my bowl, and you'll notice it's kind of thick and sticky, which is great because then we'll be able to form it into patties really nicely. Because I want this to have a little bit of zest, a little bit of something herby, I'm just gonna add some cilantro in here. You can totally use parsley if cilantro freaks you out, I won't judge you. I'm just gonna roughly tear them. I like those big pieces of herbs, but if you want it smaller, you can totally chop it. Okay. Mix that in. And now we're ready to form them into patties. A couple things I want to do before I form these into patties. First, remove all my rings. Because I wear like 12,000. And now I'm going to oil my hands just to make sure that nothing sticks to them. Just a little on here. Just a little. Using extra virgin olive oil. I think you're moisturizing your hands, but you're really just prepping to make your burgers. Okay, here we go. It's very fun, very therapeutic, and look how well this sticks together. So I'm gonna form these into like a little ball at first, and then I'll flatten them out into patties. You can really make these as big or as small as you'd like. I'm going for like a major burger situation, but you can also make little small burgers as well if you want little bite-sized snacks, if you want to throw them on a salad. They're very versatile. See how virtually nothing is sticking to my hands? We can thank the extra virgin olive oil for that. You've got a lot of really hearty elements in this burger, the cashews, the chickpeas. It allows it to stick together, but also allows you to feel really satiated. It's really delicious. and just a really great way to eat a veggie burger that's exciting. I'm gonna put these in the oven at 375 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. Make sure you flip them once halfway through baking. And if you don't wanna eat them now, don't worry, you can freeze them for another day. They're perfect for meal prep.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. I appreciate it. We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Hey, who's this?
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Hey, who's this?
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
I mean, is this a joke? Look at this. That crisp golden exterior? It looks so beautiful. If you did want it to be a little more crisp on the outside, feel free to sear them. But to me, this looks perfect. It's time to assemble my burger. I'm very excited. I've got my bun, got my tomatoes, my lettuce, and I have a little red pepper special sauce to go in the burger as well. So I'm gonna go for it. Got my bun. I like a lot of sauce, so I'm gonna go ahead and be generous here. This is gonna add more flavor, a little bite, and some nice color too. I'm gonna spread both sides of the burger, both buns, here as well. The red pepper sauce is like tangy, a little sweet. These are roasted red peppers. Okay. Now for my star. Go ahead and add one of my burgers. Straight onto my bun. It's like it was meant to be there. It's almost upsetting how perfect it looks on that burger bun. Okay. Gonna add a little fresh tomato. And some lettuce for some greens in my life. Okay, time for that other bun. I mean, come on, look at that. Doesn't that look good? Look at the colors. I gotta take a picture. Doesn't it look good? Okay. Oh my God, look at that. All of those layers of flavor. That looks really good. Okay, is it time? I'm nervous I'm not gonna eat this in a cute way at all, but I guess it really doesn't matter. Okay, here I go. I'm gonna go from this side. This seems more approachable to me. Okay, here we go. I mean, this chickpea burger is so well spiced, so well seasoned. I think I need another bite. It seems like I must take another bite. Okay. It's just simply not right. It's simply not right how good it is. That red pepper special sauce, though, ties everything together. See, this is why I'm everyone's favorite picnic guest. I do stuff like this, and then they always invite me again. You can be that person too. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Okay, I'm going in. Someone has to stop me. Someone has to stop me. I'm gonna keep eating this. No one's gonna stop me? Okay. All right.
Going to Central Park is one of my favorite things to do in New York. It's the perfect place for a picnic party. I invited my sister and my best friend for a little afternoon lunch.
Come on. Hey guys, look at my crudité prata. Yeah, I'm eyeballing it.
I cannot live my life without hummus, and I love bringing it to a picnic because it's easy to pack and snack on.
We love a fresh veg. And hummus is so good. What do you think? Hummus is so good.
My chickpea burger is one of my favorite plant-based meals. It's hearty and comforting, plus it's great hot or room temp.
Oh, I like that you're taking photos. That makes me happy. Are you contemplating? Okay, cheers. 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 It looks like Shake Shack, honestly. It looks like Shake Shack. It's nice. Okay. Doesn't it? This looks fake. It's like a Krabby Patty.
There's nothing I love more than sharing my food with the people that I love, and a picnic is a great place to do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
Tragedy in Texas. The bodies of at least 46 migrants found inside a tractor trailer on a sweltering hot day in San Antonio. Some survivors, including children, rushed to nearby hospitals.
From heat stroke, heat exhaustion.